You hear me?
I can hear you on the camera.
Cool. There it is. All right. I think we're in here now. I was having internet issues. We are actually not even on Instagram. I don't know what's going on my Instagram, but it ain't working. I'm trying to do these Facebook steps so we can do the comments. We might not have comments on the screen today, but guess what? We are live. Good morning, everybody. Let me get this camera going. Boom.
So your it's not working Instagram today?
I think it's just the internet being slow. I don't know what's going on. Like Instagram, like every time I click something, it takes like 30 seconds for it to do anything. It's just Instagram though. So I think it's just Instagram. Oh, well, it is what it is. So
and one more thing before we start, did you make it the link where people can share it and make it public?
Yes, that's another thing we got to figure out. I got to figure that part out. We'll do that as we go, and hopefully we'll be okay. I don't. Yeah, this stuff is craziness. Any rate, what's up, E?
Man, I'm going to turn on this camera in a second. I'm just moving some stuff around. But this morning,
shout out to James Brown.
Oh yeah, James Brown is doing it. So this morning, man, this was a rough one.
Man, listen, I woke up at like 6 a.m. to get up and get on here, and so it's on me.
So my sunglasses are not to be cool. It's because my eyes. Plus, it's from crying. You know how you get up and not crying literally, but how you have to. You know, it's your payday, right?
Oh, it's today payday?
Well, it was, but it's irrelevant now.
Had to spend that bread before you even got it. I
know how that goes. You look around and you look at your money. I'm like, man, I can do all. But for me, the way I do stuff, man, when I get paid, I just pay everything.
I get that. Yeah.
And I just pay it all. I still have money left over. And then when I'm paid again the next week, my next one, I'm sitting back like, yeah, I can just, that's the check I shop with and buy stuff with and, do what I need to do with it.
I feel that. My wife is good about that. I'm horrible about paying bills. I am awful at it. I'm gonna let you know that right now. Like,
she's good at
awful. That. She's good at it. She will make sure bills are paid. She'll make sure that stuff is taken care of. Me, on the other hand, I'm just out here living my best life. So, I guess that's why you're supposed to get married. So somebody will somebody will do stuff you don't do. You know what I mean? I got stuff I'm good at. She got stuff she's good at. That's one thing she's good at.
That part just sucks for, I think, anybody.
Absolutely.
Getting up and you get paid and you smiling and you happy. And it's like, well, not doing nothing with this one. But I'm sharing the thing. I'm going to go live in just a minute.
You good. So what's up, good people? Glad to see y'all out here this morning. I hope everybody's having an awesome Thursday. It is Thursday, March 6th. It's 7:37. We were a little bit late getting started this morning, having some internet issues, trying to go live on Instagram. And it is now it wants to load up. Look at this, like up on my computer. Now it wants to load up. Like, so Instagram is like different how you have to get it on there. You have to like put a stream key and go through all that stuff like that. And for whatever reason, I guess it has decided to be a douchebag this morning. So hopefully we'll be able to get Instagram up and running for today. And then we'll have some Instagram people. And we're also trying to get our comments loaded in here. There's some stuff we have to do. So we'll see what happens with that. Nonetheless, how was your night last night, E?
Man, it was, you know what? I had a lot of things to get done yesterday.
Yeah.
So, honestly, man, first thing is I fell asleep after we got finished. Maybe a good hour later, I was doing some work and I woke up. It was 3 hours later. I said, what in the world happened? I fell asleep sitting on the couch.
Yeah, I feel that. Man,
but it was other stuff I got to do, different things, but you know how it goes.
Yeah, you a busy man. I don't think people know how busy you really be out here. Yeah.
Look,
Come on, glasses.
Yeah, this to keep my red eyes from showing and everybody laughing. Man, it's a lot. You know, it was a lot happening last night.
Yeah.
And not in a bad way, because like you said, I got a lot going on.
Yeah.
And last night was just a night of putting some stuff together. And
sure.
It's one thing when you're at an event and you're running it while you're there.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's a whole nother thing when you're at home.
Yeah.
And you're running something. I'm helping run. There's an event happening in Miami right now. And it's this week, it's the 8th, 9th, this coming weekend, but I was coordinating volunteers for it, right?
Oh, gotcha.
So Ray Hammond and Trey are running the production, and it's the only gospel act is Ty Tribbett. Everybody else is New Edition. It's Drew Hill. It's like a big R&B rap festival in Miami. So I'm sitting here at home doing some coordinating things from here.
That's what's up.
And some other stuff, man. But you know how it is. You know, this stuff when we do music, you just you just gotta keep busy, keep moving.
Basically, I don't think people know for real how tough that is, man.
It's rough.
Like when you
people
out there,
think
like,
it's easy.
Yeah.
They just look at the backstage part. Like I'm hanging out in the back and all this, but man, it's way more than just hanging out backstage.
Well, you know me. I be trying to avoid the backstage. People
don't get it.
You be like, Frank said, "Come here." I'll be like,
it's a lot.
And trying to go somewhere else.
Especially depending on the role that you have. Like with my role, I got to know everything at all times, and every time I don't know. Yeah. And people think touring is just you get on the tour bus, you on the stage, everybody hollering, all the fans and the people out, and you security, and you got food, and you jumping in and out of cars doing radio. It's so much to do because in my role as a road manager, I'm the first to get up and last to go to bed.
Yeah.
And a typical day for those of you who want to tour and don't know how this goes is rough. So let's make it the first day. So if you're on the bus, as Zeke, as you know, you're in that bunk, that thin bunk like thing. And if you had to climb up there, that's the worst. If you're on the bottom, it's rough.
Yeah.
Because, getting up off the ground. So let's say you get on the bus, everybody. You get to the venue let's say you get to the venue at 9, 10 o'clock. Then you sound check for maybe 2 hours. Then you leave the venue. If there's hotel. Sometimes on the tour, it's been on the date, there's no hotel. So you get back on the bus.
Yeah.
You just sitting on the bus. If you know Spanish, you may leave the venue and go out and view the city, but your time is limited. Or you in the building. Then, it's the meet and greets. All of this. Then you got to get ready. Yeah. Then the show may start at 7. Show went in at 10. Then you got the after show meet and greets. You might be there till 11 o'clock. Then you still have to make sure the artists you're with, they're good, they're straight. Then if it's not a hotel situation, then you're taking a shower in the venue. And I go to Zeke's arena.
That guy sucks when you got to do them, what they call them, for lack of a better word, when you got to take a whole bath.
Right. You're taking them showers and the shower water is hot, sometimes it's cold, then you do the shower.
Right. You're trying to hurry up. The water cold, you freezing. If they got showers. Then you throw on your clothes, you run to the bus, you get on the bus, it's maybe, now you're at 1 o'clock, right? Yeah.
So they say we're going to a hotel. So you get in the bunk, you fall asleep, if that. 3 or 4 o'clock, you getting woke up to go check into the hotel. You go into the hotel and check in, and say it's an overnight thing. You ride maybe 4 hours of sleep, and they wake you up. Now you back. You wake up, check in the hotel. You got to get your luggage from the bus, check into the hotel. By the time you fall asleep in the hotel, it's time to get up and do the whole process again. Now you back up. Hey, we got sound check at 10. You just got in the bed at 6. You right back up, fully dressed and on a bus headed somewhere else by the next morning. So it's not what people think it is. If it's a one-off date,
it's tiring, man.
It's tiring. Now, if it's a one-off date and you in and out, that's one thing. You get to, even in some of them cases, you get to go to bed at a certain time. But depends on the client you with, because like I know with Fred, we leave out. If we do a show, we may fly in that day, that Friday. We go to a hotel, that's cool. They pick us up, we do the show. We get back to the hotel around 11:30, get in the bed, but our flights are at 5 in the morning. So you fall asleep. You know, I go around 11, 12 o'clock. 2 or 3 o'clock, your alarm going off, time to get up and get dressed. Then you go to get the artists, take them, and you get on the drivers there. Then you gotta go through the hotel. Thank God for TSA and all of that. But then you up, then you fly home, and then, as you know, because I live in Indiana, so we don't have those buses anymore because the bus used to take you, like a charter bus will take you from Indiana to Midway or O'Hare.
Right.
So now when I get back, for me, I get off at the airport, and if you're touring, you're not parking at the airport, you'd be broke when you get back. So you get off the plane. Then I have to take the blue line to downtown, which is about a 45-minute ride. Then when I get downtown, from there, I go to the South Shore with another 45-minute ride home. So even if I get back at 10 in the morning, I may not make it back home till 1 o'clock, 1:30. And then by the time you're in, like, ooh, I'm in, unless you Uber or Lyft from the airport.
Yeah.
It take. Oh wait, we got a few people in here before you say, dang it, I dropped. Sorry, everybody, dropped my phone.
Say shout out to the people. Give some shout outs to the people.
Here we go.
I'm trying to figure out how to get the comments over here so we can see them on the screen. So many steps. This is weird.
And then the banner.
You would just think it would just be automatically there, but apparently it's not. You got to do other stuff.
And the banner not down there.
So while you give the shout outs, I'm gonna look for these steps and how to do this.
Right. So we got. Let's see, Denisha Villo. What's going on with you?
Denisha, what's up?
Kankakee crew. Zori said the Kankakee crew is.
Shout out to Zori. That is like one of the dopest dudes. I've known Zori for like ever. So yeah.
Oh, yeah. He's a good dude.
Yeah, he is. He's a real good dude. Shout out to Zori.
And let's see. For now, some of the names I can't see, but for right now, that's what it is. Hold on a second. I'm resharing. And everybody, like Zeke said, we're at the beginning of doing this. So, yeah, he said, y'all been cool since preschool.
Like, literally, like, since preschool. Like, he is one of the people I've known the longest in my life, literally. So I definitely give all honor and homage to Zori. And he's a good singer. He's got, like, such a pure voice. He's such a good singer. Like, literally, I promise you, he's such a good singer. And he directs Lewis University Gospel Choir. He has. Are you still doing that, Zori?
Oh yeah, we used to go down there. LXW, I think went down there. Piera.
We did, yeah. LXW went down there one time. Matter of fact, that time we sang with them, that was the first time I ever got to play with Nick and Jeremy and them. Remember, we had to use them for the band, and like shout out to Nick McCree and Jeremy Allen. Like that whole crew was just great artists. Yeah.
Well, he said he don't do it anymore.
Oh no, they're missing out on. They're literally missing out on something.
And those of you that's watching, comment so we can know who you are in here, and please share this.
Yeah,
we got other people joining us soon.
Shout out to the people. So
yeah,
what we talking about today? We don't never. You know
what? Actually, today, we had something yesterday that somebody asked us about. Remember?
Oh, yeah, that's right. A bro asked us a question. Yeah. I don't remember what it was, though.
It was about... it was a few questions people asked. Somebody asked about, can Christians have alcohol? Somebody asked...
Somebody asked that question?
Yeah. Can they have gummies? Somebody asked... We had a few questions in. Rhonda on the Rocks.
Shout out to Rhonda on the Rocks. We have absolutely, definitely no questions asked whatsoever. Got to have Rhonda on. Rhonda, whenever you want to get on, you have an open invitation.
Turn on the camera, Rhonda.
Her today, anyways. Yeah.
And so what we're doing is I'm trying to see if now again, everybody, this is new. And like Zeke said, we're working the kinks out. So what I'm trying to do is see. Did you make it public, Zeke?
I'm trying to right now. It's
You said I'm ready.
They said it's supposed to be sending me a notification to my. Let's try this again. All right, send me a code. There we go. There we go. Boom. Is my camera still on? So y'all just see me just looking down and stuff.
It's still
all right. Let's see. There you go. There you go. So now I got to use my phone. Okay. So what we talking about? We got somebody asked some questions, right.
Oh, Rhonda on the Rock said she ready. She said put her on camera.
All right, I put her on camera this morning.
Oh, she said, wait, not right this moment.
Literally, we will put her on camera. Rhonda, we'll get you on next week because you are she's got, you see that name Rhonda on the Rocks. She's got a podcast that she started and she is doing amazing. I know she does a live broadcast. So if you're not following Rhonda on the Rocks, I'm going to tell you, go ahead and do it. She's always got cutting edge conversations and I always love it. I love her perspective. She's one of the smartest people I know. So like, she's always got great perspective and she just a down home girl,
We have Bobby Lane just tuned in.
Shout out to Bobby Lane.
She doing it. She out here on the road. She in Atlanta right now.
Bobby Lane is doing it for real. Yeah,
doing
Bobby
all
Lane.
The shows.
Yeah.
She's doing the Anthony Hamilton show, and she's doing that Mother's Day tour with Fred and Hammond and Margaret Sappler. She big time. She real big. So,
yeah, she's big time. I'm just glad that she even knows who I am and tuned in.
She's somebody. She's somebody to know. She's a celebrity. So Bobby,
now, I don't know if y'all hear.
No echo. We just hit when the music was on. It stopped.
I've got Facebook going. I'm trying to make it so that it's public. That's what I'm trying to do. I don't know why it defaults to something else, which is really weird. But yeah.
And Instagram, you might want to get that rolling.
Between Instagram and Facebook. Instagram is live. Instagram is live. Shout out to Instagram people. What's up, Instagram? I got comments for Instagram going on way up here. I've got let's see. I've got Facebook comments going on this side on this screen. And once I figure out how to get all this stuff up here, we're gonna be all right. Like I didn't know you had to do all this stuff. This is so weird.
Which means we may have to do once the show is over.
Yeah, I might. Well, it said I can do it during the stream, but it's just,
you still be able to. And everybody who's watching, hello again.
I'm telling you what, we'll find out in a minute.
We're gonna find out in a minute. And again, appreciate everybody that tuned in today. Today is going to be a day of conversation and some good stuff like that. And actually, I'm doing the same thing Zeke is doing. I'm trying to share it too. So bear with us, everybody.
As y'all know, we're literally learning how to do this as we go. We didn't take any tutorials or do any preparation. In case y'all don't know how this thing goes, we don't be preparing for stuff. We're going to get better in the future, but I highly doubt it. So we just
be the same.
Literally press live and then start talking about whatever. So
Tiffany Phillips has jumped in there.
Tiff is on here. We got Miss Amore. We have to get her in here whenever she gets on. She was on with us yesterday. It was quite a time. It was so good fun.
She's funny.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yo, so let me tell you what I did last night, bro.
Go ahead.
So I started acting classes. Yeah.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, man. I started acting classes. I'm out here trying to be I don't know if I'm trying to be an actor, if I'm just trying to do something fun, but it was really good actually. So I did it with RGE, Richard Gallion Entertainment. Like
he's a good
Richard
dude
Gallion,
too.
Shout out to him. Yeah, man. He's killing the game right now. He's yeah. So he's killing the game. It was a really good time. It was, I think class was like 3 hours, 3.5 hours, something like that. Right. And like literally, man, to be an actor, I don't think people realize you got to be so vulnerable. Like I was so nervous. So we had to do like a monologue, right? Mm-hmm. And so I signed up for the class late. So everybody had like their monologues and stuff. And so literally during like at the beginning of class, but before class started, I just got on ChatGPT and gave it some prompts and told it to write me a monologue.
Right.
And then I had to get up and perform the monologue that I just wrote on ChatGPT. Like, and I had to perform it like, like I'd known it all this time. And I did a good job, actually. He said I did a good job. So shout out to myself.
He's a professional. So if he said you did a good job.
Exactly.
And that's funny you mentioned that because I think people should do what they want to, do what makes them happy. And no certain age are you too old to try something.
For real. Yeah.
Like a lot of people don't know what I've been taking. I've been taking lessons for bass and piano.
Really?
Yeah. I just didn't mention it. I've been taking little lessons because I used to play piano a little bit. And so other day, a couple weeks ago, I was just sitting at home and saying, man, I want to take piano lessons. And I went, and the guy was like, I said, I want to take bass guitar lessons too. But I told him I'm gonna sit back on one and do the piano lessons first, because and it's not for no certain reason, but I think because of what I do musically, sometimes when I'm picking vocalists and running through stuff, I want to kind of have that, and it's just something to do. I feel like we never have to stop learning and doing things, at all.
That's the truth.
And we got some more people. Cynthia Barnes.
That's my Aunt Cent. I can see over here. Yeah.
Oh, you can see it.
Shout outs to Bobby Lane. Said Bobby been second a long time. What's up, Aunt Cent? I love
Roshima
you.
just joined in.
That's my Aunt Cent.
Dixon and David Dixon.
Shout out to J.R. That's Willie L. Jordan. That's the man right there.
Johnson. Good morning, dude. We got to have you on here too.
We gotta have Roshima on here. That's
Roshima. Matter of fact, Roshima went down. Her and David were in Dallas.
For real?
Yeah, they went down to Dallas to just go and hang out with Fred for a little bit. And he ended up putting Roshima in one of the movies and stuff.
What?
Yeah.
You a movie now? Hey.
Roshima is an actress. So
that's why I got to take my acting classes so I can get my chops up. That right there, so I can keep up with people like that. Shout out to John Johnson. He says never stop learning. Absolutely. Yeah. Never stop learning. Like never stop learning. And thank you to everybody on the congratulations for the marriage. Y'all know I got married on January 1st, right? And so I just kept it from the public. It wasn't like a secret or nothing. I just didn't make a big fuss about it. We decided not to make a real big fuss about it until we were just ready to do that.
But how was the married life transition for you?
How's the transition?
Yeah, to married life.
I mean, it's cool. We've known each other a long time, so it was an easy transition, I guess. But I guess once something is like officially like a ring on the finger, you know what I'm saying? Like it's just a whole different, it's just a whole different scenario at that point because it's like now you actually own this person. So it's like
I saw you say on the view. I own her now. She was like, "Don't say that."
I know she hates when I say that.
You're my property now.
All mine.
Now get in there and cook something.
No, it's cool though. So like she balances me out in ways that stuff that, like I said, like a thing like paying bills, like I forget in a minute, like. Bro, I won't even lie. Like, so we over here now. We got this house and all that stuff like that. We're renting and we're doing all that and everything. Like, ask me if I even know. So, like we got a new management company and all that, property management. Ask me if I even know how to get on the dashboard and pay rent. Like, I don't even know how to. Like, if something happened to her, I won't even know how to pay the rent. Like, I'd be lost.
Your auntie said you do not own sticks.
I mean, but do I? Don't I?
Say, do I? Don't.
Just a little bit.
Shout
out to the people on Instagram real quick. I see my uncle up there, my Uncle Ken Carr. Shout out Uncle Kenneth. I see Terrell on here. Yo. I see Rob Pope on here. Yeah. Let's see. I can't see this part right here. Yo, Jackie Sanders, what's up? Everybody
Jackie Sanders is on there.
Yeah. Everybody's right here. So Instagram did end up going live. It's just being super slow.
It's just being super slow. I just got to figure out how to make it right because I'm sharing it from my page now.
So you can share, but how come oh my goodness. So StreamYard is telling me to do these steps, and nothing that they're showing me is even on my screen. Like I clicked on the stuff and they don't even what the screen looked like. So I don't know if that's outdated information. Anybody who is a StreamYard guru, you can help a brother out.
Janice,
help a brother out.
Janice Parks Hudson said, "Hey Zeke, congrats."
Yo,
well, said we all gotta hang out again. So everybody that's watching, we're gonna have our guests come on a little bit, but tell us like some things you want to talk about in the comments.
Yeah, we'll talk about some stuff. Let me see here. Where's my phone? I had a text when I was looking for something.
Pastor Willie Jordan said we're gonna have to get a better word for Zeke instead of ownership.
Instead of ownership. Okay, we won't call it ownership. We'll say I leased her from God.
So she's on my lease from the
I got a lifelong lease from God on her. That's
right. And but everybody, again, thank you guys. Hold on a second. I know that's weird. Thank you guys for joining in with us this morning. Seriously. So give us something. We have a few things we're going to talk about today. Today's going to be an interesting day because, as Zeke said, we don't know what we're going to talk about.
Never know what we're going to talk about.
We just turn on the computer, we turn on the screens, and that's
it. Why have we always been that way? Like, why do we always do that to ourselves?
I'm still
like, why do we do that to ourselves? We got to,
make it rough for yourself. PK Gates said, "What's good, family?"
What is good? What is good? Man, I got to get my cousin on here one day. So I legit want my cousin to come on. I'm texting back and forth with him right now. We haven't, he sent me something and I'll let him say it whenever I get him on. My cousin is one of my cousin Tony. So he is one of the most forward thinkers that I know. You know what I mean? He's one of the most forward thinkers that I know. And I really want him to get on here because his perspective is so amazing. My Uncle Karen texted me and said, I can't see the comments. I can. They're just slow. They're just super slow. So everybody on Instagram, if I see your comment, it probably is going to come like 2 minutes after you leave it.
That is funny. Let me tell you something. I think
it's an Instagram thing.
Yeah, I've had gray hair since I was in my 20s.
Bro, I was just talking about this with Angie at the church yesterday. Like she was like, why you got all that gray? I'm like, I've been like this since I was 16, 17 years old. My hair.
My mother used to tell me mine was from sin. I was wild. I had some wild times. Yeah. But you know what? I enjoy getting. I used to say,
the gray hair. You enjoy the gray hair?
No. I mean, I enjoyed the getting older part.
Gotcha.
I used to think like, but the older you get, you say what you want to say. You've made some decisions. You know how to look back on things you've done and say, "Oh, I shouldn't have did that, but I can correct it." You have a different mindset the older you get than when you were younger. And my other camera, I got to get my other camera hooked up. Everybody, I'm using my computer camera. And Zeke has. We got a camera. You got
my computer?
Really?
Yeah, this is my computer camera.
Oh, well, mine looks a little fuzzy.
But you know what? I got a light on myself though. I put a light on myself. I probably need to turn the light off myself because I got bags under my eyes. I look like I've been sleeping. See, look, I turn my computer light off. That's what I turn into. So, yeah. It's just
so you got a light on your phone. That's what it is.
Ain't nothing but a ring light. We got to get you a ring light. That's what we got.
I just got it's early in the morning. It's like,
I just set mine up and just left it set up.
So let's see. Somebody asked a question about the music business.
Questions about the music business. That's a good That's a good topic to get into. Yeah. That's a good topic to get into. I think people would. Yeah. People.
And when I'm looking this way, I'm looking at my phone because I'm looking at the messages.
Oh, you good? Here. You good? If I'm looking up, I'm looking at trying to see the comments.
Willie Jordan made a comment. He says, I think that a good topic is how the church deals with mental health and trauma.
That is an excellent topic. Actually, so JR, I was going to hit you up and see if we can get on next week, maybe. So if you don't get a call from me today, I'm going to call you tomorrow. Because I do. Yo, what just happened? It just came. I see John Johnson's comment just popped up in the comments. Look at this. Check this out. I don't know how this just happened. I don't know what I clicked. But watch this. Watch this.
Oh, there it is.
No! I don't know why that one came up and nobody else's is. Slowly but surely, we're getting it worked out on StreamYard.
You got it to work.
So, yeah, I think that we do need to get into that topic about how mental health in the church and all that stuff like that. So, if y'all don't know this, I know I mentioned it a lot.
There it is. Now I can see it.
It just started doing it. There you go.
John Johnson, for some reason, the only person.
He's the only person that comes.
His comments are coming up like that one. That he says I'm special.
Yeah. So let's talk about this comment real quick, though. Eric got that Morgan Freeman.
How do you? And it says we can join. Oh, we can connect the comment on YouTube as well.
Yeah. YouTube comments show up, but ain't nobody on YouTube. We trying to build that up. So y'all subscribe on YouTube. But real talk. So I mentioned this before. I work for an organization called Community Healing Resource Centers. It's a network of centers that are at churches. I think we got 12 sites now, 11 or 12. We had 13. So we're a network of sites that deal with trauma, mental health, and other things like that in the Black community. It's a program of Live Free Illinois, founded by the Reverend Sierra Bates Chamberlain. Shameless plug. She'll be actually preaching at my church on this Sunday. So that's pretty cool. She is a social justice warrior, and her main thing is around dealing with gun violence and trying to advocate for changes in gun violence laws, all that kind of stuff like that. And so as we advocate for these different laws, right? Like, going to the state, going to the city, like trying to get stuff like that, right? We, like in the city, we pressing Mayor Johnson about a permanent office of gun violence prevention forever. We know that other cities have had those offices and that they've seen their gun violence numbers drastically decrease, and every time a new administration comes into Chicago, they put up a new office, right? So we press for those kinds of things. We go to Springfield for like Days of Advocacy, and it's really advocacy, and it's really around like getting gun violence and gun reduction laws and things like that, things that make sense, common sense in our communities, because we know that it's a tough time in our communities with gun violence, especially in the city of Chicago. Now, on the flip side of that, well, you can advocate for all these laws and stuff, but we recognize that our community is still traumatized by this stuff. I mean, and most of us don't even realize what trauma is. I mean, at the end of the day, if you go into your car and you got to keep looking over your shoulder all the time, and I'm not talking about just like generally looking. I mean, you are legitimately afraid somebody could run up on you because there's a high likelihood, a high likelihood that could happen in your community. That's trauma. So, so our goal with the Community Healing Resource Centers is to deal with that, with trauma that whether you've been impacted directly or indirectly. And so that's what we do in our community. And that is, centered through churches and community development corporations that, are in our community. So this is, it's a church run program. I mean, CHRC is kind of in the name, CHRC.
That makes,
but
a lot of people, it says in the comments, some people say, people are traumatized. And like Willie Jordan said, he said, I'm having a community stakeholders meeting today at the Gloria Taylor Bakery facility.
Oh, shoot. Is that today?
Yeah.
Snap. I thought that was Saturday.
Oh,
I'm tripping. Okay, bet. Snap.
People are talking about trauma, and we're going to talk about that mental illness in the church too.
Yeah, I will always bring that comment up because, I mean, at the end of the day, this is my thing about it, right? We do this whole thing of, we use prayer as a crutch in the church. I don't care what nobody say. I stand on that. I go toe to toe with anybody. We use prayer as a crutch. Like I just pray about it, and then that's the. And that may work for some, but I'm here to tell you, you need to talk to somebody. You find some counsel. We got to break that taboo, that stigma. First off, in the Black community, but even more so in the church. And the more conservative the church is religiously, the less likelihood that somebody's gonna think they need some counseling or something like that. Because you know how old school saints used to be like, don't go over there talking to them. That's the they trying to get you away from God. They trying to do, man, get that mess out of here, bro. Like at the end of the day, like you gotta deal with stuff. Otherwise, you know,
not,
like
you mess up.
Yeah, if you got kidney disease and your doctor gives you medicine, why? Because you went to the doctor because something was going on. They told you what was wrong. Now you taking pills and medicine and stuff like that. Mental health is the same thing. This is a muscle. This is an organ of the body. And when something ain't going right, like there are people who can help you get that together. They're trained up to do that, counselors and other stuff like that. So that's essentially what we do with the community healing resource centers. And we try to like educate our community, like, you know, outside of religious barriers, outside of, you know, any, you know, we don't make no fuss over anything, whether what your religious belief is, what your sexual orientation is, what you identify as, what race you are. We don't care about none of that. All we care about is making sure the community is good. Somehow we just lost Eric, but I'm still going. So all we care about is making sure our community is good. So that's what we do, you know, around around trauma and around mental health issues and things like that. Oh, Eric came back. We got him back. So
we're trying to click on stuff on reading. Like, what does this do?
I like what he said right here, man. This unchecked anxiety. We're traumatized. Like it's real. So we do events and stuff like that, right? I mean, so I'll give you an example. So the biggest event that my site has done, I'm the site coordinator at my site over in Morton Park, Roseland, West Pullman, Maple Park. You know, those are my areas, right? Blue Island, Beverly, all that. So I'm focused on those areas, getting information and stuff in those areas. And so we just had a Super Bowl event, right? We just opened up the church. You know, my church, we got a theater in there with the big screen and all that. So we played the Super Bowl on there, right? We played the Super Bowl, and let me show you what I got to deal with, right? Now, JR, you right. The church folks might get mad at me for this one. Here's the thing that I legitimately had to like contend with. On that Sunday, right? My church, we're not a huge church. You know, if you come to my church, you'll see anywhere from 100, anywhere from 80 to 150 people on a Sunday, right? You know, in general. So that Sunday, let's estimate that there was 80 people at my service, something like that. It was a lighter Sunday. So it was about 80 people. And we got two other churches that rent from us, and they got the numbers they bring in. I had more people just about than all three services combined that came in from the community, right? To just simply come to a safe space because community members didn't feel safe. We weren't going to do it this year because it's so expensive and it takes a lot of work and we have small staff. But the community was asking us to do the Super Bowl event, so we went ahead and did it. And, shout out to Antonio Davis, and he helped out with his church, and all that. Like, so we opened up the doors. It was over 100. The official number was 113, I think, 112, 113. But we know there was like 150 something people in there, like on that day, because they just wanted a safe space to go to. Why? Because of the trauma of just going around the corner to, the neighborhood bar. Other communities, they can just go to a neighborhood bar or something. For us, we opened up a safe space. The community was asking for that. But here's the kind of stuff I got to contend with, is where the church folks gonna get mad. I got to deal with folks who be like, oh man, like it's, the church shouldn't be used for this. The church shouldn't be da da da. And it's like, what? We done prayed for the folks to come in from the north, the south, the east, and the west. We done prayed to the Lord. Lord, send them from the north. Lord, send them from the south. Lord, send them from the east. Lord, send them from the west, which I argue is an illegal prayer because Jesus said, go you, therefore, into all the world. But we done prayed that the Lord send them in. And then when he does, when we put these kind of events and stuff together and the community comes out, then where the ministers at? Where the people at who can help deal with that kind of stuff?
Well, church to me,
come in. You know what I'm saying?
It makes sense to do those types of things. Church is supposed to be a community, and you're welcoming people in who don't know the Lord or who haven't been around it. So you're inviting them into your space, which if you're smart, you control the environment, you control what's happening in that space, where they can get the word or where they can just be around, even if you're not speaking to them, just being around.
Some people just need a hug, bro. You'd be surprised how many people, like, because if you know me, you know how I am. I'd be on the street just talking to people. I just be out there. I see somebody walking past and I spark up a conversation. There's a lady around the corner, she be panhandling. I haven't seen her in a while. So if anybody know a lady named Diane who be panhandling, by Family Dollar on 112th and on 112th and I guess what would that be? 112th and Marshfield. There's a Family Dollar right there. If anybody knows that lady right by the tracks, like she always be out there. I haven't seen her in forever, and I don't know her last name. I don't know how to find her, and I'm a little afraid. But I'm gonna figure it out. But like, I mean, I'm bringing her up to say, like, I literally just go out and sit with her sometimes. Like, so I'm that kind of person, right? I'm that kind of dude, and it's so tough to get people to be on that same kind of page from the church world, because we just want folks to come to a church service. We just want folks to come on a Sunday, and then we go about our business. And I'm just not that dude. I'm just not with it.
We're supposed to do other things as well. And that's like a couple of days ago. Sometimes if you just let God give you instruction, you don't know what seed you plant in somebody. Mm-hmm. Like I was in Walgreens picking up something, and I see this young black girl. She had a small baby she was holding. She was holding the hand of another one at an ATM. I didn't think nothing about it. You know, you walk past by, you look, keep moving. So I got what I needed. I'm headed out the door, and I saw her get her receipt out the machine. And she walked out the building. So I'm in line, and God said, clear as day, give her $100 out your account. And I said, okay. So I went to the ATM. I took the money out, and I'm seeing now at the same time, I'm hearing it, but I'm saying to myself, well, by the time she get outside, God, she's not going to be here, and I can just keep this money. He was like, no, she'll be there. Yeah. So I'm like, how do I know where to find this woman? So I get the $100 out the ATM. I go out the door. Guess who's parked right next to me? The lady. Mm-hmm. And her tail lights, she's backing up. And I said, hey, wait a minute. And she was sitting in the thing. She was a young chick. And I said, don't be nervous. I said, but here, God told me to give you this. And he loves you. And I handed it to her. And she said, no. And then she immediately started crying and laid on the steering wheel. Mm-hmm. And said, this is what I needed out the bank. And I didn't have it. Mm-hmm. You know? And I didn't sit and preach and tell about the crucifixion, all that. I just got in the car and I left, because that was something that it's the small things. It's the seed planting that we do. I was the other day, I was so hungry. I went to this hot dog stand. So I go in, I order these 2 hot dogs, French fries, and a drink. I'm walking to the car. There's a homeless lady outside. And I'm looking at her and give her that what you have. I'm like, man. He said, you got 2, give her 1 and give her the drink and stuff before I open it. All right. And I said, okay, fine. So I came out, and I didn't do it at first. I got a car. Saying, I'm hungry. I'm going to eat these. And he made me turn around. He said, turn around and find her. I turned around and I said, she's not here. He said, make a left. I made a left, went up to the gas station, spin around, and guess who's in the parking lot? Digging in the garbage, the lady. So I went up, took one of mine out. I left the drink and stuff, went up to her, said, here, God told me to give you this, blah, blah, blah. I gave it to her. And, she said, oh, my God, I needed this. She said, are you a preacher man? She was this older white lady. I said, no, I'm not. She said, well, I really need to say, God bless you. I needed this. Thank you for, somebody show her. She said she felt somebody showed her love in a different way. Yeah. And, I feel like I see. Somebody said they like to pass out love bags to women and transgenders on the street.
That was a bro. Yeah. Let's see. We got some comments here. Yeah. Why is John Johnson the only comments that's showing up on the side here on stream?
John, what are you doing to put up your comments?
That is so crazy. Why that's happening? Like none of these comments up here are showing up over here. Like I gotta look like. Is it because this is crazy?
Is it because he's your friend or all the other people?
I'm friend with all these other people. Yeah, I don't know what's going on.
That's weird.
Like, I don't know what's happening. I have no idea what's happening, y'all. No idea.
We only can see John.
We got some good comments over here. Like, so let me see here. Like, I'm gonna scroll up a little bit here. Let's see here. I see my boy Neil on here. Good morning to Neil. What's up, family? That was my roommate in college for 4 years. Neil Bellamy. Let's see here. That's my brother up in Detroit. Yeah, those kinds of events. This is Willie L. Jordan, JR. I call him JR, so I hope you don't mind me saying that. But those kinds of events, the form of evangelism will help grow your church. We did like stuff like that at St. Mark all the time. So if y'all don't know his dad, you see that name, Willie L. Jordan. His father was the late, great Bishop Willie Jordan from St. Mark Baptist Church. If you're a choir head, you remember Lonnie Hunter and the Voices of St. Mark. Yeah, that's all them. That's all them. My first time in St. Mark, side note, was I went to a live recording for Joshua's Troop. That's where they recorded Everybody Clap Your Hands. I went to that live recording up there. And so that was my first time in St. Mark. But anyways, he, you know, like to his point, they did those kinds of events and they helped grow their church. And anybody who know anything about that church was huge, man. Right? Abronia, right. So glad I was able to go out late last night, pass out love bags, women and transgenders on the street. Yeah, you know, and you know, we castigate folks in church so much, man. We do so much castigating of people in church, man, until we just sometimes, man, I just show love at the end of the day. Sometimes it's just that. You can ruffle any feathers you want to. That's all I'm gonna say. You can ruffle any feathers you want to on this show. That's what we do here. We're here to ruffle feathers.
And don't care if you get upset.
Let's see here. Yeah, so you know, that's the kind of stuff we do. I'm glad we got on that though, because I don't know. I think that's a thing that we got to get better at it. You know what I think the problem is? Okay, and I'm about to piss off every preacher.
Can you check something again? Because people are on my page can't see what we're doing. It says the content isn't available right now.
Really?
That's why on my page people can't comment. They're saying we're not available. It says unavailable.
All right.
Do you have it?
I'm trying to do it while talking live, and it's not working. I'm trying my best, y'all. I'm trying my best. At some point, it will probably get there. Let's see. I'm trying to follow the directions here on StreamYard, but yeah. This like it's not there. Okay, let me see something real quick, y'all. Let me see something real quick.
And while Zeke's talking about that, I'm gonna go into the topic of what we were talking about was mental drama and stress.
I'm gonna solo your screen, E.
Go ahead.
So I can look up.
So, and I'm trying to do this, so let me pull this up. So, that's a real conversation. And for me, hold on a second, my screen just went crazy too. Hold on a minute, everybody, and then I'll start. So for me, full transparency, I've went through that, through a serious time of depression, and it was just crazy. People are telling, Zeke, because people on Instagram saying I can't see it. I went through a serious bout of depression myself. I wouldn't go out the house. I sat in the dark. I was on 4 different medications to give me mental stability. About a year and a half ago, it went through so much was happening. I had different stressful things happen, and those stressful things set off other things on me. I started having tingling in my fingers and hands, and doctor said stress from stress. And I was praying about it, but it just seemed like it wasn't getting any better. And it gave relief, but I didn't feel like it was any better at times. And not ashamed to say it. It was, when I say it was some serious medication I was taking just to get up, just to function, just to have a conversation, just to smile, just to say hello to somebody.
I think I figured it out, E. I think I figured it out.
You did. I see her comment.
StreamYard was absolutely wrong about the directions they gave me. Let's just put it that way. I had to play with some stuff. No diddy.
That's what she said. And so I went through some major mental issues. And that's all I'll share with them. I went through some mental illness issues. It was bad. I was on 4 different medications that were like, one of them, the highest dosage was 200. I was at 150. And that wasn't doing it. And I said all that to say, I ended up going to see a counselor. And I saw 2 of them, 2 therapists. And the church sometimes has the stigma around, especially as Black men or Black people in general, that you're not using your faith when you go see a therapist, and you're supposed to trust God and this and the other. But They always forget Jesus was a healer, was the healer, and he still had a doctor around with him. You know, he had Luke was there with him. And I think Luke was there as that person to say, hey, this I'm checking them out, and this miracle is true. They're good now. So there's nothing wrong with seeing therapists. There's nothing wrong with seeing counselors. There's nothing wrong with any of those things.
No, ain't nothing wrong with none of that.
None of it. And I think more of us should go because a lot of people deal with all types of stress. You know, you have people right now panicking because of the state of the country. You have people that's stressed out about jobs, the food prices, take care of their children. You got parents and people who's losing different types of public assistance. Who's like, how am I going to buy? You know, people are stressed in so many different ways. And I think the church's responsibility, and some people will get mad at me for saying this too. I know what I'm about to say, but I don't care. Anyway, the church needs to take a less judgmental stance and be a place of, be people of concern, love, and of refuge. Let's use, since we're talking about people that's dealing with struggles, let's use Leandria. You know, Leandra's been in jail twice in the past this year for public intoxication.
Really?
She just went again 2 weeks
ago.
I
don't be paying attention to none of it.
She went to jail like 2 weeks ago. And before that, she went maybe a month or 2 months before that. And people look at her, and I saw a pastor online say, well, you all need to stop booking her, and she needs some help. Now, I agree. She needs some help. But if she's not working, she can't take care of her home. You know, it's a thing of, the first thing is her, and some of these people are my friends, but they need to get and change some of her inner. Sometimes it's the people around you as well. And she needs help. So some of the church people, instead of them getting online bashing her and saying things about her that are so bad, just pray for the girl. That's what you're supposed to do. Because she's a public figure. We see her mess. But a lot of people that saying stuff got all kind of crazy stuff happening. They got a lot of in the closet stuff happening themselves. And she's somebody that may need counseling. She may have had a rough life and rough things happen. We don't know. And some of us know her. But even in knowing her, I don't say nothing bad about her. It's like, hey, she's going through.
Yeah.
She's no different. Just because she's on TV or a celebrity does not make her problems should be less or her situation should be easier. Well, she's this, that, and other. So what? She's a public figure. So what? She's on TV. So what? All of that stuff. She's somebody that needs help. Let's not also forget, at the beginning, she never said she was a Christian person. She just said, I'm a person that can sing and won a gospel competition. We're expecting her to have the same stance and values and things that we have. And she's a person that's not of that background. So this is where the church comes in and says, hey, you need help. So we're going to work with you. But it's nothing like going through a situation, you get online and you see people knocking you real bad. Public social media has been a blessing and a curse.
It's a double-edged sword.
It can put somebody and make them feel this way, or it can take somebody and have them commit suicide. We feel so free to comment on other people's lives. And I always tell people that you cannot tell somebody how to manage their money, and you're a nickel away from poverty yourself. You can't tell me nothing. You struggling. If you don't have a couple million in the bank, don't tell me about how to manage my money. You don't have it. It's like I can't take advice from somebody who's in the worst place than I am trying to give me advice about my situation. That's like, hey, marriage is this, that, and other, but you're in the middle of a divorce. Yeah, you can still have your opinion on marriage and have a good insight of marriage, but right now you need to be quiet too and try to work out your situation. Not saying you can't have an opinion, but I think our opinions have become, we feel like the law or like what it is, and it's always not that. It's just an opinion. Yes, we can pray. I agree. We can pray and assist people. Let's pray and assist them. That was the whole thing. The woman who the pastors and the church folk caught in adultery, he didn't condemn her either. He says, hey, which one of y'all haven't messed up before? Okay, whoever ain't never messed up, go ahead and throw the first rock at her. Nobody could throw a rock because, in the wisdom of Jesus, nobody, because he already knew all y'all messed up. So who are you to point out what she's doing wrong? I'm the Messiah. I'm God, and I'm looking at her like, oh, she's just in a bad situation. Just like when Mary Magdalene cried and washed his feet, and everybody was like, you know who that is touching you? He was like, yeah, I know who it is. But she did something none of y'all did. Jesus never had a judgmental attitude. He was, now wait, let me correct what I'm saying so people don't get me wrong. So yeah, he did speak out about stuff. I didn't say he didn't speak out. He spoke out on things, but he did not judge those people. He still loved those people where they were. He never told them, hey, I'm not going to heal you till you do this. He healed. Some people weren't even right. When he went to Zacchaeus, he was in the tree, and they said, Jesus, where we going to stay tonight? He said, hey, we coming to your house. Everybody was like, you going to stay at his house? You know who that is? He's the tax collector. He's wild. He's this wild guy. Jesus, like, yeah, that's whose house I'm going to stay at tonight. We will go have dinner with my man over there. He looked at people through a different lens than we do because God knows the heart. We can see a person, it can be the worst, vile person you ever seen, but there's a part of their heart that loves him that he sees. It's like, oh, I can work with that. That's why people should just be people and let God be God.
I love what Rhonda just said in response to that. We pray for God to bless people when we are sometimes the blessing. Lord, please give the hungry food, and you just toss leftovers because you didn't want them. See that part right there. Like for instance, you use a story. You made that anecdotal story about how the $100 for instance, right? God told me to get it, and then so you were the blessing in that instance, right? Like God blesses people through people. We always looking for God to do some crazy miracle. My thing on miracles. This is my thing on miracles, right? Like, okay, I've told y'all, pastors, I am so sorry to y'all today, but I might. This is where you might start seeing this. This is probably why we stopped having to be on the radio because we pissing people off. But I think
before you start, I cannot share anybody's comments for some reason.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on here.
I see the one you put up like a minute ago. I was able to click on them and put it at the bottom, but it's not letting me do it.
StreamYard is StreamYard, and y'all y'all just gotta bear.
Go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
But and I hope I don't piss no pastors off, but I actually kind of sometimes hope I do because then it gets them to at least thinking. My goal is always to make people think.
Put it on me. I don't care if they get.
We have this thing about miracles, right? Everybody want God to do a miracle, and I gotta think about that. Like miracles, the very definition of a miracle at the end of the day is something that was kind of like impossible, if you will, right? Mm-hmm. Something that was impossible, but at some point, like once you do it, then you realize it's possible, and then it should be able to be done. So let's put it this way. So an example of that would be, you need some money, right? So you're looking for God to do a miracle, but at the end of the day, money is, I ain't gonna say it's easy to come across, but it's just a thing, right? Somebody could give you some money. Somebody could bless you with something. Somebody, somebody can give you a better job. They can, whatever the case may be, there's ways to get money, but that's connected to people. So we're looking for God to drop, $20,000 like manna from heaven out the sky and cash money, like make it rain on us like we a stripper or something. We're looking for God to like do something like that, when the reality is you around a whole network of people, and most of us keep our fists tight, right? Like don't want to help, don't want to give nothing. So did that require a miracle, or did it require people who were, just, you don't even got to be super in tune with the spirit, just in tune with your fellow man. Like if you see a need, can't you just reach it? Like if you got two coats, if I got two coats and you got no coat and it's 30 below zero, and I'm watching you walk around outside with no coat, knowing that you're going to get sick and die. But I got a coat sitting at home that I clearly can't wear two at a time. Wouldn't it be like the selfless and the most in tune thing?
Wouldn't it be common sense?
Go and grab the coat and give it to a person. Like that don't need a miracle. That just needs somebody who paying attention. And I think that one of the things that we do in churches that we got I think that we should teach the opposite end of this. We teaching people to go praying for a miracle, and I'm like, no, why don't you teach the people that's sitting in your pews to be the miracle, like to be the one who's just in tune with the world around them to see what's going on. But how can you really see what's going on if you ain't even in the community? If you're not even in around people, like you in your own bubble, in your own little circle. And so we fill people's schedules up with just being at church all the time and this service and that service. And I'm sorry, but after church service, I'm tired. I'm ready to go home. I'm ready to go to bed. So I get so worn. People get so worn out with just church services, they never even get a chance to even put none of that to good use. Like, right. And good use is practical stuff. Just being in tune with your fellow man. At the end of the day, people, just need other people. I see Ari Simone in here. She's gonna get on with us today. Actually, that's who I was.
Matter of fact, too, when you get a minute, if you can go back to your original post and tag me in it, I can share it on my page. Because some reason I can share it, but people still can't see it.
It's like public now. Yeah, it's public.
Yeah, but they can't. They're still saying it says unavailable.
Oh shoot, I don't know. We might have to end the broadcast. So it might have to be a tomorrow thing. I hate.
Yeah, we can do that tomorrow.
But I mean, it's public, so if they go to my page, just tag my page or something like that. They should be able to go to it.
Matter of fact, that's what I'm gonna do. Because is your page public though?
Okay. Absolutely. I love this right here. Don't be heavenly bound and no earthly good. That's an old trope in the church. That's the reality, though. Some of us are so heavenly bound and that we ain't no earthly good. Let me see something real quick. Yeah, so what do y'all think? I mean, I'm seeing some good comments in here. I'm really, honest to goodness, like I'm loving the comments that I'm seeing in here, man. I'm loving the comments. Like, people, what do y'all think? I mean, like, because I understand this. Like, the people that tend to get around on my page and stuff like that, everybody ain't in church, and that's okay. Oh, she made it. Okay. Yeah, like, everybody ain't in church. Everybody ain't, that way. Everybody ain't that person. So I'm wondering, where do y'all stand with it? Where do y'all stand? I think it's a lot of people that's doing more good that aren't in the church world than some of us that are in church all our lives. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, it's just that's the reality, and that's tough to hear if you're a church baby, But anyways, I got somebody, we'll revisit this real quick. I want to, speaking of blending stuff and being out in the community, all of that stuff like that. I want to bring somebody on because we started a conversation last week. And I want to be able to maybe touch on some of that because I know I also have a lot of people who will maybe go back and watch this who are singers and musicians and artists and other things like that who may be going back and forth about some stuff and so I want to have just some honest conversation with a good friend of mine. And so in just a moment here, my little sister, I want to bring her on if she is ready. So we're going to bring her on in just 1 minute. But while we're getting ready to bring her on, y'all do me a quick favor before we go any further. Do me a favor. Put some hearts, put some likes, put some comments. If you're on the YouTube side, subscribe. Go ahead and share it. StreamYard is StreamYarding this morning. I did, and maybe it's just user error. Or maybe it's StreamYard having an error, like because Instagram comments, they are running so slow. I can't even move Instagram around. So people are leaving comments on Instagram. Shout out to everybody that's on Instagram. I can kind of see your comments and I kind of can't, but I want you to know I love you. And as we get that whole thing worked out with the stream keys and everything, then we'll get better going forward. So all of that. So I definitely want to let y'all know, please share, please tag. This is good, engaging conversation. This is good stuff. If you know somebody who needs to hear this, somebody who needs to hear that the church needs to get it together, tag your pastor. Go ahead and let them go ahead and tag your pastor. Tell them about this.
Tag your pastor and tag our pages.
And please do subscribe. Please do subscribe. I'm gonna tell y'all, just being transparent, we're trying to build up a YouTube page too. I'm trying to build my YouTube page as well. So I want y'all to subscribe to my YouTube page. It's just I'm gonna put it in the post. And while that's going on, I am going to bring to the stage somebody who is, like I said, my little sister. She is awesome. Y'all give it up for the one and only Miss Ari Simone.
Hi guys. Don't start, E.
What's up, Aretha?
What's up, family?
What's your name again? No, I'm
Ari
asking.
Simone.
Never heard.
Hi, guys. My name is Ari Simone.
Never heard. Never.
Nobody has ever heard of E, but it's fine. Hi, Zeke.
Hi, Ari. What's up? Welcome back.
Thank you. I'm glad to be back. Hopefully, I don't get knocked off this time.
I know, right? That
That's
was.
what she said. So, and quick shout out before. What's your name again? Ari, whoever.
Hi, everyone out there. I am Ari Simone.
It's Aretha.
Or as Zeke calls me, Aretha.
Yeah, I call her that. I got that from DeVaris though, so I can't take credit.
Yeah, that is DeVaris.
Shout out to DeVaris.
Well,
what's up? So Ari, you kind of helped me kick off the idea to even just go live every morning, because last Friday I went live while I was working in the studio, and then you was like on with me, and I was like, let me bring you on the camera, and I brought you on, and then we got kicked off. And then, my cousin, we got on. And so my cousin Tony, we got to talking. So between you and my cousin Tony, y'all gave me the whole idea to even go live. So, of course, you were the first person I called and was like, yo, let's continue the conversation. And you've always kind of been, I guess we lost E. Let's
never heard of him anyway.
So, I said I wanted to continue the conversation because, you've been with me for, man. It's been almost a decade. It hasn't been a decade. It hasn't been quite a decade, but we pushed
almost next year. It'll be
no. This year.
November of this year. Right?
November of those were auditions for LXW. The first auditions were November 2015, and the only reason I remember that it was 2015 because that was the year my oldest sister passed away. Yeah.
I'm sorry, I didn't know that.
I didn't know. Oh, but y'all didn't know that?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
wow.
LXW started.
You know everything, Eric. You in everybody's business.
Yeah, when I was in California, my whole family was like so excited that I was gonna be working with Dietrich and all of that. And that's the only reason I remember that. That's the only reason I remember it was 2015. Wow. So and you were one of the first auditions, one of the first. Yeah,
that was a long night.
My God, Ari, I've known you for a decade, almost a decade.
You have worked my nerve for a decade.
But you gotta admit, I made you better.
We had moments, but no, it's been great. It's been definitely great. The crazy part is that I didn't want to be in a choir because I was only used to worship teams and stuff like that, and I'm like, I do not do big choirs. But fun fact, I was going through my own personal things, like a separation from a marriage and stuff like that. I was like, I need something to get my mind off things. And then I got the email about it, auditions, and I was like, well, let me try this out.
You know what's crazy? You're not the only person that was the case. There was a lot of people that were in LXW who had never sung in a choir before. I mean, I'll just be frank, and I've said this to y'all a number of times. We had a lot of folks that just couldn't sing. Just could not sing. If you put them in a solo and asked them to do, but something about when we were together, was like it was just, you would think that we was the most professional group, and I think I worked the mess out of us because I was always comparing us to my top choir all the time, Donald Lawrence and Tri-City Singers, best choir of all time. And I was always comparing us to these groups and the Fred Hammonds, and of course we were LXW's name, and LXW was in LA killing the game with new music, and so now we got to match that energy in Chicago. And we had folks that had never done a choir before, never been in it. But I think what it was though, if I just I got to give kudos to Eric Rideout. Real talk. This real talk.
Crazy.
Well, one of the things Eric was really good about, he like those Facebook groups and stuff that made everybody so close and everybody stayed so connected that real friendships, relationships, marriages, all kind of stuff came out of that. And Eric really kept the community going. Yeah. Like real, we got babies.
My fiance in there.
Exactly. Like Eric was a big part of making sure everybody stayed so connected. It wasn't our talent that brought us to that level. It was the connection in the community. Speaking of community, it was the fact that it was a community. And one of the convictions I'm having these days, transparently, is that, you know, I snatched that from people when I stopped doing New X as much, you know, like, but you know, like.
But it gave you opportunity to try to break out and do your own thing. Like each individual had the opportunity, you know, to take what doors or networking that we got from the group and try to expand on it. You know?
Yeah, that's
So,
true. That's true.
You know, because I best believe I use my resume from LXW. Okay?
As you should. Yeah, as you should. Absolutely, as you should. Because, you know, at the end of the day, those are what we call them, transferable skills.
Yeah.
My goal was to give people transferable skills, and I think that's all I wanted to see at the end of the day was that people, when we started New X, it was like that was the main conversation I had. Like, yo, who else is like trying to be an artist? Who got a camera and trying to like make movies? Who trying to produce stuff? Who, like, we want to see people doing that stuff because you know, this branch out, be bigger, do better. And so you've done that. You've been launching out. Tell us a little bit. Yeah.
Ooh. Yeah. So I came out on my own 2 feet. And I stood on the foundation of my gospel background, but I kind of ventured out into, you know, neo soul and R&B a little bit, and I actually have fun doing that. And sometimes gospel shows up in those sets, you know, because it's still in me, you know.
Yeah.
It's just that I'm expressing a different side of love. I've always expressed my love for God. Now I'm expressing natural love that, you know, everybody in the world can relate to. You know, I have friends that, you know, some friends are believe in God and some friends maybe not, or they believe in another higher power, but everybody believes in, you know, love, you know.
Yeah.
So sometimes in order to get one message out, you got to go through a different tunnel, and that's kind of what I'm doing.
Wow.
But
I like what you
know.
just said. In order to get one message out, you got to go through a different tunnel. That's
Yeah.
you gotta just preach the sermon right there.
She got that from me.
I gotta take that one in there. I like that one. All right, Aretha.
I did not get that from you, E. But definitely, you know, and that came from when we used to sing out some music in, like, you know, club sets, you know.
Yeah, and you know what's crazy? So I mean, this goes back to LXW days. You know, because we can go back that far. So because you from there, like I remember talking to Eric when I first, you know, when we were first before we had any auditions or anything else like that. You know, me and Eric started talking and figuring out how it was gonna go and all that kind of stuff. Those meetings with Nina, shout out to Nina and Kat and all of them. And I remember I would always be like, nah, I just see it. Like I could just see it. I was like, I don't really see us working churches like that. Like, I mean, we gonna be there, but I see us in clubs and arenas and other places like that. Like I see, like the, you know, I'm gonna just use the vernacular I was using because we talk like that. I was like, I see niggas with like hats on backwards, with their pants sagging and tattoos, ain't never been to church with their hands raised up because they just feel and crying because they just feel the love. I see drug addicts in front of us. I see drunkards. Like I would say, I see a DJ working with us. We did all of that, and you'll be, you know it. Like that's every show we ever did. Wasn't that what we saw?
Yes.
I just thought about that. You're right. It was drunk. The DJ. You all did arena.
Yeah.
I remember one show. A lady. She was definitely drunk, and she came up and she was doing the most interesting moves in front of our set. And you didn't ignore her or tell her that somebody to go sit her down. You jumped off the stage and, you know, started vibing with her. And of course, you didn't get to her level, but you know, she was definitely in another zone. But it was, but she was enjoying our gospel set, you know.
That was one of the things I loved about y'all. Like, oh man, the group at LXW, I will put that choir still to this day. LXW and Zeke Lock and the New Experience. Between those two groups, I would put them up against the people that came through there up against any other group. And I'll tell you why. Because y'all was just willing to do anything. Any crazy thing I said, let's do. Y'all was willing. And again, shout out to E, because he just let me do whatever in LXW. And that's what made the groundwork for Zeke Lock and the New Experience to be able to do that kind of stuff. Like, and y'all would go with me with whatever. So I had y'all running out to the audience like, no, go find somebody, dance with them, like go get, and y'all would do it. And the energy was so infectious. And so like we would do those outdoor events, like you said, you know, and those people would I remember being at different events that were outside, and you would see people on the outskirts because these would be gospel events, and they would be on the outskirts and wouldn't be actually coming in. And the moment like that track would drop, that 808 hit, and I started talking because I'd always take the mic and be like, "Yo, I'm talking to all the people out in the." Everybody in the community, I'm telling you, come on over here. Like I would, that's the first thing I would say, something like that. And sure enough, that's what would happen. And so what comes with that, the drunk folks that was smoking, and they because the track is vibing. We ain't just doing no Jesus. We weren't doing nothing like that. We was like, working the stage, you know what I'm saying? And they will come up there, and of course, if you drunk or whatever, you hear some good music, you gonna dance. And we made way for that, and we were able to witness to so many people in that way, show love to people in so many ways, and so I just you stuck through that through the whole time, and I really definitely appreciate you on that level. You know what I mean? And now seeing what you're doing with your stuff. So what you got going on now?
Besides a wedding,
yeah, that's true. Congratulations on marrying. Yeah,
thank you. Finally settling down again.
Yeah, congratulations.
Thank you, and congratulations to you.
Thank you. Y'all see that? I's married now. Married now.
Besides that, I am trying to actually. It's something coming in the works in April. I want to say around April 19th. I will be a part of introducing of a set. It by Jay Keys. Maybe one day he'll be on here. Where did everybody go? I feel like I'm on here by myself.
We're still here.
Okay.
We're still here.
Yeah, so he will be introducing. I don't want to give his information because maybe he want to introduce it, but he will be coming out with his own thing, and I'm a feature artist on that. So I will be.
Who was that again?
Jay Keys, Jeremy Keys, not the name.
I thought you said JD. I'm like, so who is JD? Like,
oh, nobody knows JD. Like, no, I mean that would be nice. That would be dope. I mean, I wouldn't.
So Keys has got to. Okay. I won't dive too much into that because he want to make us in that. We'll have him come on and do that. Yeah.
So something's in the word. Don't do that. Jay
Keys. Who did you say?
Jay Keys. Never heard of him. I know what's coming up.
Since you said it, I have never.
Anyway, but yeah, something is in the works, and I'm gonna try to do something original, but I've been in my mashup bag, so I like to mash up songs and create those type of vibes and things like that. So that's kind of the vein I've been going in, doing mashup covers and trying to go. I want to say go viral, but because I feel like when people try to do that, it never happens.
Yeah.
Just trying to be creative, and in being creative with different covers that I like, finding the sound that I'm trying to put out for my original music. So yeah. So but yeah, April 19th.
April 19th.
Look for those flyers coming.
Yeah. Now I'm excited about that. That makes me excited. I had a chance to come and see you. Me and my wife had a chance to come see you and Keys perform at the Promontory, and I was so proud. I was so proud because Promontory, seeing you in those kinds of spaces, and just watching your gift, go to those kinds of levels. I mean, that was just really awesome. You also did a show up at the Pork Chop. You sold out that show. You had a sold out show that you were the headliner on, and that was dope. I hate that I had to miss that one. I think I was doing Deeply Rooted's thing. Yeah, that's when Keys proposed, matter of fact.
That's when he got his mind right and went on and proposed.
And we had to miss it. I was so sad we had to miss it. It was like me and Jamaica, and who was there? It was me, Jamaica, and Jason, and Sam, and Phil, and Red, and we was all. I remember we left you a voice memo, a video thing. We was like, oh my God, we're so sad we couldn't be there.
That I didn't know I had till like a week later because I didn't know you could send voicemails on FaceTime or whatever.
Yeah, those FaceTime video messages. Yeah. We sent you one because we were, we knew that Keys was gonna propose. Because Keys had told me, he was like, make sure you're there and it was the production week for Fertile Ground, and so of course music director, I couldn't miss that. And so I was like, I was so sad, but I was so happy at the same time, but that show was a sold out show. And you did an excellent job with that. I've seen clips and everything. Obviously, it was really good. One of the things I've appreciated about you is your voice. You got a voice that is, anybody who knows me knows, one of my favorite singers, one of my favorite female vocalists of all time. I will stand on this 10 toes down. I put up against anybody. The legend, Pam Kenyon Vaughn. Y'all probably know her as Pam Kenyon Donald. Sang with Fred Hammond, was the iconic voice behind a lot of that. Like one of my favorite vocalists all time, and I've told you for the last 10 years, you got a voice so similar to hers that it pierces and cuts and can do,
What Eric got to say? He always got something crazy to say.
It does. She does. That's what she reminds me of. Just that she has that James Cleveland raspiness to her. But
I shouldn't even gave him the floor.
It sounds good. No, you can sing. You can sing. And now that you quit smoking Newports, your voice is clear. You do. You sound great.
Did you say now that you stopped smoking Newports?
See, people are used to smoking.
Outside of what he's talking about, actually, my voice is clear, but it has nothing to do with Newports because I've never smoked. But it did come from losing weight, and I never knew it was related. Because it's some heavy singers out there that can blow, but I never knew how much impact that being heavier had on my breathing with singing, and how high I could, my range and things like that. And even though I feel like I would like to be even higher, because I feel like people who can get up there in the rapture, they are some beasts. But I definitely can see that, getting healthier has helped with my singing ability. I can do different things that I couldn't do before.
Yeah.
So,
that was one of the things I used to always hark on in LXW. I think I offended people sometimes. I'd be like, y'all, some of y'all just let yourself go. You got to do that. And I wasn't trying to be offensive, but it was a real
you did say that.
But it was a real practical thing. It was like, we out here and we moving so heavy. We're doing like you're gonna put too much strain on your body, and also like for what it's gonna take to be able to do all of this while singing the rafter notes that we were singing, like the way we was doing it, and just to have that kind of energy and mental stability, and like you got to have a healthy thing. And so you've taken some steps to really grab your health. And I mean, you dropped the weight, like, I mean, it's
80 pounds down.
Nice. Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about that journey, if you don't mind. Now, you can tell me anytime if I'm crying too much. You know how I am, but we vulnerable over here. But anything you don't ever want to talk about, still,
No. It wasn't. It was a long journey, but it took some liquid diets, which was hard. I failed one time, and not by anybody's standards. It's just by me. I knew myself that I didn't commit to it the whole 2 weeks. So I was like, I had to start over. But when I really did it for real, I saw that I had lost 25 pounds doing it just in 2 weeks, a 2-week liquid diet. I'm like, oh, snap. Hold up. This thing actually worked. So I had tried a lot of things like the shots and stuff. And I lost weight with the shots, but it just made you feel funny.
What shot is that? Is that is that Ozempic or?
It's similar, but it was another name. I think it was called Cabela or something like that. It was expensive, and it did its job. It definitely curbed my appetite, but it was just hard to keep up with. I ain't had them type of coins.
Understood.
So the journey consisted of a lot of different things, but it honestly came from mentally changing your mentality,
Be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind.
So but no, like I changed a lot of my beef to turkey, changed a lot of my fried to grilled,
Yeah. That is a hard journey, like, and then I y'all know me, I love sweets, right? Like, y'all know me, I will eat chocolate all day, every day. And like, so for me, like the same kind of thing, like trying to mentally changed because I was putting on the all my weight just go right to my belly.
The popper belly.
Yeah, I get that pop. Like, you can't be skinny and fat at the same time. That's just, you just can't be. I look like a pregnant beanstalk. Like, you just can't do it. Like,
So funny.
like, you know what I mean? But like, I mean, again, it's just that mental thing. And the hardest thing to get past is the mentality, just to avoid the cookie out. I see my cousin Celia here talking about them Oreos. Absolutely. Like I will eat some Oreos.
See.
What up, Celia Carr? That's my little cousin, y'all. Maybe we're gonna have her on one of these days as well. But like mentally to get past that, oh my God. Like, so
God, I've never had that struggle. Like, sweets are not my things. It's the salt. Chips, oh my God.
Yeah.
I eat chips all day and pop. And that's another thing. Like, I changed a lot of my sugary things to diet or zero sugar. Ginger ale is my life. And that's actually a good one.
They're gonna flash her.
Man, so terrible. But yeah, changing a lot of my sugary stuff to zero sugar and stuff like that. Like, it was hard. But when you change it, you find out the stuff is not really that bad. You just thought it was bad because you wanted the other things. But.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I've been not eating sweets, a whole lot lately, and so like I got like 2 packs of cookies in here and a pack of donuts. Like now, me, I can go through that whole thing in like 3 days, right? Them things been sitting in there since. Celia, when was you at my house? Like last week? That stuff been in there since last week. I've eaten like 4 cookies. The pack of Oreos is still practically brand new. Like, ain't no, but because it's to your point. I'm saying it to your point, which is like once you kind of cut it out, then it becomes harder to even pick it back up. You know what I mean? But then once you pick it back up, you fall so much harder. That's real talk, So it's definitely a mental adjustment and change. And so, like, I know you said you had some times where you said you failed, or you had your falls or the slips and you came back. How did you overcome that and still come back around? Because I believe you're really helping somebody on today.
All right, before you answer, let me say this. Everybody, please share. We have singer and recording artist Ari Simone.
Yeah,
with us here today.
Give her some hearts. Give her some love.
Yeah, give her some. Her on social media, Ari Simone, and shout outs to Mimi and Aisha. Aisha works for Fred Ham and different people that are now jumping in the comments. Thank you guys for jumping in. Ari was just about to share with us how she stopped smoking. So go ahead.
So crazy. I can't stand eating. But that's where you see the comments. I'm sorry, I'm just now seeing comments.
Don't worry, StreamYard be StreamYarding. Yeah, StreamYard be StreamYard. I still can't see my Instagram comments. I don't know why this is frozen up over here. Instagram is live apparently, but I can't see comments or nothing. Nobody's leaving. So I gotta apologize to my Instagram people that got mad at me yesterday. So I gotta apologize to them. But I believe you are
come back
somebody.
From your followers.
Yeah. Thank you, CC. She said phenomenal vocals. Thank you, CC, and she's an artist too, y'all. So I can't wait to see her segment on here.
Yeah, but I believe, I think that the conversation that you're having here is probably helping somebody, because there are a lot of people who are, struggling with weight stuff, and so I'll give a little preference before you go into your answer here. Like, we go through this thing in America where, first off, we got horrible food in America. My friend Runa, shout out to Runa in Norway. She posed something to me. She made a statement to me one time, last time I was in Norway, so past October, I think that was. She made a statement to me that has sat on me since then. She said, you guys in America have all those illegal substances in your food. So from her perspective, because in Norway, a lot of the stuff we have in our food is actually outlawed in other countries. Like, it's stuff that I think we're talking something around pop. Like, if you ever had a pop or soda, for those who aren't from the Midwest, if you ever had a Stody, if you ever had a pop in any other country, it tastes so much fresher, so much better, because they're using like real sugar and stuff, versus here where there's like all these syrups and corn syrups and all that stuff like that. And so it doesn't take on the same flavor. And so we were just mentioning that I drink pop when I'm over there because it just tastes different. I'm not a big pop drinker, but over there I get it, And she said, well, yeah, that's because you guys have all those illegal substances in your food. So in America, we get these addictions that end up happening with us. And then we do the whole body positivity thing, right? And I don't mean this with no harm to nobody, but sometimes what we call body positivity is really an unhealthy situation that we're trying to make up for. And then you really got to get this mental thing. Like, again, I'm same boat as me and my sugar, and just, I'll be all right. You supposed to at this age have a belly that come in. Nah, nigga, you stop eating all them sweets. Like, and then I watch my stomach go down, and it's just like, So like, what was the mental thing for you that helped you to be able to really, get past some of those pitfalls, and when you fall, get back up again, like
right. The hard part was, the what got me through it is that I told myself my mistake right now is not forever. Like, it's not gonna keep me down forever. Because like in my first week that I tried to do my 2-week liquid diet, it was like on a Thursday. I just wanted some Chipotle so bad. And I messed up. I went to get it, and that burrito bowl was so amazing. But I the next day I was like, you know what? Okay, you messed up. Start over. Because the health journey is not supposed to be just for that moment. It's supposed to be a lifestyle. So it's like, even in life, you gonna mess up sometime when you're trying to do anything, but that shouldn't stop the journey that you're on. So that's what I had to tell myself, just because I ate this burrito bowl, I'm not a failure. I can start over,
Yeah.
And another thing was helping me was not getting on the scale every day while I was trying to do a fast or trying to do something, because if you don't see the weight dropping, then you get discouraged and you like, this not even working anyway. So I honestly had the scale there, but I wouldn't even get on it until like 3 weeks later, and I'm like, whoa, wait a minute, I lost weight. And so even though I knew I messed up in that time, I didn't add more things to my mental capacity to stop me from going. Because if I had messed up and saw I wasn't losing anything or something like that, I would have been like, well, I'm done with this. Not paying attention to all the negative things that could have stopped me helped me, and honestly, we add on stress to ourselves. It don't even be outside stress. We stop ourselves from doing things. So I just stopped. I made sure I wasn't my stumbling block. I made sure I wasn't my own obstacle. And anything that would have discouraged me from continuing, I just didn't do it. And the hard part was I still had to cook regular food for the house. They didn't want to eat what I was eating. That part. That's the part right there. That was the hard part. I'm like, I'm fixing y'all this meal and I'm gonna eat some soup. Like that. So it was just, I was ready, and that was another thing. I was ready. No, of course, you had said in rehearsals, y'all need to condition yourself. And my mom was, other people was like, you ready to work on your health? And I would try stuff for other people, but it never lasted. Done having children, I knew I wanted to, just see myself in a healthier light, like how I was years ago. And I'm just like, I'm ready now. So that's another thing, doing it for yourself and not doing it for other people. So that's what helped.
Yeah, you said something there. It was you that was ready at the end of the day. Like, you just got to be ready and really commit to that change, but like you said, though, it does bring up the fact that, it makes you better at your craft and everything else like that, because the breathing changes and you're more mentally clear. So, I started acting classes last night. I was talking about that.
Not last night.
Yeah, last night. Last night was my first acting class. Last night. Yeah. I figured I got these movie credits under my belt, but they all for me singing and doing. I acted one time. That was with Dietrich. That was just a little cameo. I did the other 2 movies with Chris and them. Shout out to Chris and Janine and all them. You know, but those were me singing, you know, and then the whole choir thing. And then, of course, I'm doing the thing Hood Book with Fred, and I had a couple roles. And I was like, oh, I need to get my acting chops up. So I took a class with Richard Gallion. So I'm taking a class this month. Richard Gallion, he let me in. He let me in. But he said something last night, right to this point. He said something last night. He was saying, you know, if you notice, he told us as, you know, as a class, he was like, you know, if you notice that actors who are on TV and stuff, you know, they watch their diet. They're very strict about their diet and their workout regimens. And he said it's not just because they're trying to look good. He's like, but like the stress that all of that stuff puts on your body, like the stress it puts on your mind. Like he said, what you eat will affect how you think, how you're able to memorize lines, how you're able to perform, how you're able to breathe, how you're able to get up at, like me and Eric were talking about today, you know, those 3 a.m. lobby calls when you got to the hotel at 1 a.m. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so, you know, but, you know, how you take care of your health matters with that. So, you know, I know you mentioned that you've seen your range and things like that go up, but even mentally, has that affected your creativity, the way that you've changed now your diet and stuff like that, and you've become so much more healthy and all of that?
Yeah, it definitely makes me more not drowsy, so I have more energy. So that is definitely helpful.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it just makes you more calm, more. I don't know how it does, like, because I guess I should study that, but it definitely puts you in a more open mind space, because you don't have the whatever. I do believe food has stuff in it that is affecting all parts of your body, even your mind. Like,
absolutely,
you know, so when you're not putting that stuff in your body, you do have a more open space to be creative or do whatever you want, put whatever you put your mind to.
Yeah.
You know, and I definitely feel like it helped. What's up, Rich? Rich Dollars.
Yes, he has definitely joined in with us. Y'all give it up for Rich Holmes, Pastor Rich Holmes, who has joined in with us.
I call him Rich Dollars because he got the money.
The superstar manager, Rich Holmes. And Ari, not to interrupt you, because I see you're at work. How long do you have so we don't get you in any trouble?
Yeah, I gotta go get my students in like 2 minutes, so I definitely gotta start this conversation.
How old are you?
Uh-oh.
Hear me? I got a call come. Crazy.
That's what happened to me last time we was on.
I know,
trying to open up that text.
4th grade though.
Well, tell us before you got to go. So those of y'all don't know, Ari works in the school system. She takes care of the babies, and so so she is, of course, at school this morning, and she was gracious enough to get on with us. Ari, tell us any last things you want people to know, where they can find you, all of that good stuff like that, because we know you got to go take care of the nation's youth.
Yes. You can find me on Facebook at Ari Simone, or ARISIMONE. It's right there under my name, wherever that is, over here. Anyway, you can find me on Instagram at Ari Simone. I hate this stuff because I'm never good at it.
What is it? Spell it out for me. I'm gonna write it in the comments for you.
There you go.
Okay. Let me make sure I'm giving the right thing.
Oh my Lord!
It's at the number 4. The number 4, Ari Simone. ARISIMONE.
Bad.
Yeah, you could just I'll definitely be more active on social media, right, manager?
We all try.
He be on me.
Right, yeah. Rick manage everybody. He manage all of us. And he stay on all of us because ain't none of us good about this social media thing. That's why I'm doing this live morning cast, live cast every morning.
That's why I hopped on. See, I'm doing the work.
I'm glad y'all
the most consistent thing I can figure to do.
Y'all doing a great job. Way to go.
Thank you.
But yes, y'all can find me on different avenues, and I will definitely put out with Zeke and Rich and Eve when that April 19th date is, and let's everybody in the building. Let's get everybody in the building.
Absolutely. Well, I tell y'all what, y'all do me a favor, show some hearts one more time, and give it up for Miss Ari Simone. We
Thank y'all.
appreciate being on with us this morning.
Yes,
Yeah.
this was so fun. I hope I get to come back again.
Absolutely. Anytime. You come on to co-host with us one day. Yeah.
Dope.
Probably not, but
Yeah.
Hit me up when Eric is not on, okay, guys?
Absolutely. All right, Ari, love you, girl. We'll talk to you.
All right.
All right.
Pastor Rich Holmes, how's your day been?
What's up,
Man,
y'all?
my day has been great. I'm just AP Rich, you know what I'm saying? So, just been chilling, man. Just take the son to school and back here to get on here with y'all.
Hey, you got to be daddy duties.
Y'all been rocking, boy. I tell you.
Yeah,
And Zeke,
man,
we got a few more people in here.
We got
John,
we got people
what's up,
coming in
John
and out.
Owens,
Okay.
Ronnie Martin,
Shout out to Ronnie.
John
So,
Owens. John
Ronnie-
Owens, let me tell you about John Owens. That dude is from Indiana. He plays basic and sing. Dude has an incredible falsetto voice. You think Maxwell Sweet? He's
snap.
so John, he used to be in the male. We was in a group, and when we were younger, as a male group, and John was singing with us. So shout out to John and Rich. Man, today we had conversations about mental health.
Oh, man.
We talked about the role of the church in the community.
Mm.
Oh, hey Ursula, what's up?
Yeah.
We talked about
I was on
personal struggles. How do you feel about those things, Rich? Like mental health in the church, one. And the other part was, as far as the church, Zeke was saying how his church does a lot of community stuff and invite the community in. Because I know your church does a lot of community events too.
Yeah. So I think, like a lot of churches, we're working on making better ways to reach and be effective with the community. That's always been my biggest thing. How can we be effective to the community? Like, we would do coat drives and different things like that. And the community come back and be like, we need socks. We thank you for the coats, but if you can give us some socks, some muffins, some earmuffs and things like that, that'd be great. Oh,
we lost Rich.
And that's that. So thank you, Rich.
Just cut him off. What just happened?
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was Richard Holmes there.
I don't know what just happened, but yeah. We'll get him back on whenever it connects back.
Hey, Zeke, I got a question. So while we're here, anybody in the comments, do they want to jump on and have a conversation?
You never know what you're gonna get when you do that, Al.
Well, people we know. They might want to share anything. Yeah, you make.
Yeah. All right, well, you know what? We'll make like anybody who ever wants to get on live, reach out to one of us. Like reach out to Eric or because Eric will be much quicker to get back to you than I will. I'll tell you that right now. And we'll get you scheduled to come on because we can. We'll get any artists or anything else like that. Artists, singers, preachers, doctors, lawyers, community activists, specialists, whatever you are, whoever you are. We want to know your story. We want to be able to connect you with the little audience that we got, and hopefully we watch that audience grow. We definitely want to be able to do that. John Johnson is a good person to get on here one day. Definitely.
And something else too, Zeke, since you mentioned that, people like right now, you guys are only seeing the beginning stages. So once we work out these bugs, one of the pages alone that we're going to share you guys with has over 20,000 people on that page watching what's going on. So once we get that stuff set up, any given time, 20,000 plus people can see what you're talking about, just jumping on with us. So we encourage you to share. And like Zeke said, if you're an artist, if you're a speaker, if you're a community activist, whatever, educator, if you're a comedian.
We got Rich back. There you go.
Dr. Rich Holmes is back.
We got him back. We got him back. We got Rich back. We got him back.
I got to talk to him while we can before he leaves.
About them socks real quick.
You were telling that story about them socks. You said the socks and then the thing just went away. Like,
yeah, no, I was just saying, just being effective in the community, and the touch on the mental health piece. Man, I think that's major in the church and everything that's going on right now. And the reason why I think it's so heavy and such an attack on it, because that's really where we win as people. You know what I mean? Everything I feel is a battle of the mind. So of course, mental health is going to be a big thing going on in the church and everyday life. So how do we combat that battle? And I think you said something that, of course, we was having fun and Ari was on, but you said you got to renew your mind. But what does that really mean for people? You mentioned that prayer is like a crutch for some folks, and I can see that. I understand it. I've never really heard it like that, but I can see that, what you mean when you say that. And it's just like, again, even with prayer, what are you doing practical with it? You want to speak to somebody, I think that's major. I think that helps out. If that's what's going to help you find out what you need to do to get past your mental health anyway. I don't think it's something, I think a lot of times we get comfortable in our mental health and we just say, hey, I'm in it. This is what it is. Instead of finding the fight to get out. And for those that want to fight the fight to get out, there's practical ways to do it. There's biblical ways to do it. Dude, you can just exercise in some things. You can eat better and that can help out with your mental health. So I think it's really you finding that way instead of always looking, and this is where it comes back, for the church to create the answer or to have the answer. Some kind of way you got to now begin to look within. I think the church is there to help. We can have all the programs, all the community events, all the things that happen. It's still going to have to come back to you challenging yourself to get past it.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of how I look at it, bro.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it becomes a personal journey. On some level, there's a
real
personal journey that happens there. And anybody else that comes along, whether that be the church, whether that be your therapist, whether that be your doctor, whether that be your lawyer, whether that be your they just there to help you along, but it's you the ultimately that's responsible for your own life and for making, decisions and choices. And that's why I love that Ari was so vulnerable about that, because we watched her in that journey. We watched her with the weight fluctuations and with the and just watching her be very just watching her do her thing and then be transparent about it and all that. That was just, I love that she did it. I really appreciate her for doing it. And I hope that helps somebody on today. I know it helped me because Doc, you know me for a long time. I'm a sweets eater. I will tear some chocolate up, man. I will just continue eating sweets and then, but I noticed like in my, mentally, like when I was going through my thing, I one of the things that helped out when I was going through my depression and suicidal moments, like, I started, one of the things I did do was help to change my diet and all that stuff like that. And maybe, that maybe I hope that was helpful towards it, but it helps to unfog your mind a little bit. That's for sure. And when you're in a foggy place, you need something that cuts through the fog. And I'm going to do, everything I can to try to cut through the fog. And that was one of those things. And so, so.
No, I get it, man, for sure. I think that's a lot of times when you were saying, because I see comments a lot, oh, man, this is pretty cool. I was just looking at it. Not just talking about praying. And it's like, I think prayer helps. I know prayer helps, but I believe there's also other things we can do to help along with that prayer. Faith and patience.
Mm-hmm.
Inherit the promise. So that's kind of the look on how I see it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's it takes some action. It takes some additional stuff, and ain't nothing wrong with that. Ain't nothing wrong with that at all. Ain't nothing wrong with that at all. So Doc, you was on daddy duty today, huh? You had to take the
daddy duty. I'm working on one leg right now. I'm like a leg and a half right now.
Oh man, you still healing up, huh?
Still healing up. I happened to take my wife on this beautiful vacation. I got to go with my parents. It was great on the cruise. We have a good time on the cruise. But I just turned 40. My God, today.
Hey, don't bring up my trauma. I'm gonna take myself off the screen.
Talking about age hurt. Church hurt, age hurt. Here we go. And so I went in December. I was able to go on ATVs on the regular ground, so cement on the road, and it was fun. I had a great time. This time in March or February, I decided we're gonna do it on the sand with the beaches, the beautiful scenery, and all that stuff. So I'm on the ATV on the sand, the beaches just gone. Now my wife took off, right, and she behind the trainer. I can't let her outdo me. Come on, somebody. I can't. We are about 70, 80 in the sand on the ATV. Now I'm about 40, you know what I'm saying, in MPHs, you know what I'm saying, 45. So I'm kicking it to going to 50, but I feel myself getting off balance. So now, if you never know anything about this, you got to keep yourself on balance. So I went to keep myself back on balance, and that thing went that way. My body went that way. I looked, but my wife was like, I thought it was over. I said, wait a minute. She's like, I thought I was gonna have to take care of my husband for the rest of my life. I was like, stop. I'm like,
dramatic.
And man, I was laid out. I just laid there. You know, you try to be all manly, get up real quick. I tried to and I failed immediately. Like, let me just lay here for a minute.
40 was 40. You know?
What did you end up hurting? Was it?
It was. I only had a sprained MCL. Listen to me talk. Only a sprained MCL. So I was on. Well, they put me on this. What's the thing you put on your leg? Not a cast, but
like a brace or whatever. Yeah.
That's only wear the brace for 4 to 6 weeks. But you know what I'm saying? Due to the power of prayer though, right now, because I believe I get healed earlier. I'm walking a whole lot better. It's been, you know.
I'm walking. Yeah.
You know what's funny about that, Rich? The older you get, certain things you, like you said, you used to just jump right up.
Yeah.
Now you gotta lay there.
You gotta lay there. And
like the other day, I went and had to. I've always had issues with my legs since I was younger with leg pain. So like me, I had to go get shots in both of my knees the other day. The cortisone shots.
Ooh.
Yeah. They numb it. I didn't feel it, but now I'm dealing with that soreness afterwards. Because I don't know if you ever had cortisone shots.
No.
You don't feel it because they numb it, so you don't feel it. But like you feel like pressure in your knee when it's doing like that. But it's a severe soreness. So walking right now sucks. And I'm on the 3rd floor apartment. So when I'm going down the stairs, you know, I don't care about nobody behind me. They got to go around me. Older you get, you can't do some stuff you used to do. Some stuff you can do. You know, but
Josh said, when was the last time you jumped over a fence? Well, last time I jumped over a fence was in
don't do it.
Charlotte, North Carolina. That was the last time I ever jumped over a fence. Was that Charlotte? Was that Charlotte or was that what was Richmond? That was Richmond, I think. It was either Richmond or Charlotte. It was either Richmond, Virginia or Charlotte, North Carolina. This was 2019, 2018, something like that. And we had traveled. I was with Fred, actually. I was with Fred. And so we was going to do a show. This was Richmond, matter of fact. It was Richmond because we was going on rides. Because in Charlotte, I didn't go on the rides. In Richmond, so we were at an amusement park, right? Not Four Winds, that's a casino. We was wherever we was, and so at the theme park, you know, so it was a big gospel in the park. Fred was the headliner. I was there, of course, and so yeah. So there's this. We're going to the rides. I see a fence, and me with my goofy self, I said, "I bet you I could clear that fence." Right? So of course, my people all did this. They all went like this. And I said, watch it. Here we go. I go running up. I pull back. I run up to it. Crazy part is, here's the fence. I did clear it, but I looked down and in my head, I didn't clear it. But by the time I realized that I did clear it, it was too late. I had already bent over to try to push myself up, but I was way too high. Wow. So when I did that, of course, I just went head first. Bow, hit the ground.
And you know they recorded that. And they got a recording of the whole thing.
Yes, they got a recording of the whole thing. It's one of my embarrassing moments. It was one of my embarrassing moments, and so now and then I had to do that whole show after. I was scraped all up. I
think you break your toe or something?
No, I didn't break my toe. That was another time. That was at Rich's church. Actually, we was in rehearsal before going on tour. Why is it every time I'm with Fred Hammond, I injure myself? Uncle Fred, we need to have a conversation about why I always get injured when I'm with you.
But wait, that's it.
I did the whole first half of that tour with a sprained ankle. I jumped up, my shoe went off.
That Six Flags thing when you jumped over that gate, I blame Jamaica and Lauren. Jamaica, because they was hyping you up to do it. They're like, you can do it, G. Me and Jason and DeVars was hyping you up. Jason and I both said, don't do that. And Jamaica was like, you can do it, brother. You can do it. And then when you fail, all you hear was, oh, no. Yeah. Lauren started to get up. And I'm like, y'all hyped him up to do it.
Yeah.
Bro, it was crazy. Like, I cleared the fence. I actually cleared it. But by the time I realized I cleared it, I had already bent over to try to push myself up.
Oh,
and
Lord.
when you that high in the air and you just bend over, it's done. You just
Rich, you never seen that video?
Yeah, I did. That's why I was like, "Where's the first?"
What's crazy is it happened so fast. Like it happened so fast on the video, but in my mind, I could like everything happened so slow when it was going on. Like I know I jumped up, I went to bend down, then I realized I'm not gonna make that fence. I'm way over this fence. Like, and so then I was like, "Oh, this is it. I can't adjust." And then boom, I was on the ground. Like I was so scraped up, and then had to do a whole show because Fred was the headliner. We was up there for like
and then remember that was the day. Was that the day you had to run through the audience and get people? We had to.
Was that show? Was that show where Fred made me go out there and get a choir? Like
get the people. Yeah,
he made me get a random choir of people. I think that was that show. Yeah,
that was that show.
Sound right.
Yeah. I was injured. Y'all just don't know. I'd be injured on stage and I still be giving it. Like I still be going with it.
Yeah.
You see what Josh just said?
I should have been with you that day to follow you so I could do a superhero landing.
Josh, you tried that at rehearsal, and we had to get you up off that altar table. So you were sick, and me and Smith took you in the hallway and had to work you over. So, and I feel bad, Josh. I always apologize because you actually had the flu.
Y'all focus to that boy.
Yeah,
I got your back, Josh.
We took Josh out of the hallway. Like, ain't nothing wrong with you. And he actually was sick. And Josh, my bad. We roughed you up for nothing.
Rich, so you was on that cruise and that's when you hurt yourself. So that's my trauma. Y'all know me and Rich, that's been my dog since. How did we even become friends? Like I really don't know. Like we just met and then we was just friends. Like that was just
that was it.
I really don't know. I really don't have a
that's just funny the way he said it.
It's true. Like we was in college together. We was
looking for
some kind of way. I was either in your room with a
keyboard.
Yeah.
I really suck at playing the keyboard.
Oh God.
Zeke really tried to encourage me like I was really good. You know, he's, as the kids say, gaslighting, I think is the word. He was like, "Yo, that sounds really dope, man. Keep doing it. You're doing a really good job." And I'm like, okay. I only know 4 chords, but I'm gonna keep playing them. And then next thing I know, I was like, "You play?" He was like, "Yeah, I do a little bit." And then he decided to play like Mozart or something. I was like, "Girl, like he knew all the everything." I was just like, "Hey man, you ever thought about doing the gospel choir?" But at one point I wanted to be an artist, if you can believe it.
Yeah, and be rich.
Businessman. And then eventually that thing shifted. I was like, "What are you talking about, Zeke? You should be the artist and let me do the business stuff, man."
That's literally how that happened. That is literally how that happened.
You still should try it, Rich. It's not too late.
I put a little bit razzle dazzle in there. I might get you a little something this upcoming year. Keep looking for
your wife said, "Not my job." Rich.
Shout out to that was Richard's song. That was his song. It's not my job.
I was gonna be R&B king. You know what I'm saying? I was on my way.
Yo, Not My Job was the stuff. Shout out to Shantae Holmes. That is, I call her Tay Treasy. That is the beautiful wife of my boy Rich Holmes. I call her my best friend-in-law. That's why
Beans.
He calls me Franken Beans. I call her. I call her Tay Treasy. Yeah, man. Rich was that artist, dude. Man, he was that artist. Yeah.
Stop me on that though. It's a lot of work with being an artist, like for real. And people don't understand it until they really in it. Cause I was just like, I'm gonna just write a song and just hopefully send it to people. And they was like, in order to get your songs out here now, you're gonna have to sing it and work it just like you the artist. And I was like, what?
You're right though, Rich. People don't
7 or whatever.
Think it's easy though. And
artists
that's why I made it, because when I was in my group and we were doing our stuff, we had Fred was trying to work with us. We had the Clarksons was trying to help us out. We was touring, we was on billboards. I was doing vocal stuff for Kirk, Smokey, Hezekiah, Marvin Sapp. I was doing all this stuff before I was working with Fred. I was young doing all this stuff because I went to a visual performing arts school.
Okay.
And the artist part was cool, jumping on the stage and singing and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But I got into the other part and I'm like, wait a minute, this is more, and you get comfortable, as you probably have. Doing management stuff, you've got to comfortable. Not that you can't still do the artist thing and still sing, not my job. You can still do your thing.
Yeah.
But the management part, I got into the business part of it. But sometimes I sit back and say, man, I do say, man, I should have. I wonder what it would have been like if I would have kept going.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like God knows the direction to take.
Yeah.
This has been successful.
Yeah.
Eric, when we was in Vegas, Eric, because to this day, I still ain't heard Eric like sing or dance or none of that stuff.
Heard none of that.
And then we was in Vegas and
see Eric play the tambourine
out with the guys before you got married, and all of the guys, Kajana and all of them, shout out to them, and Tremaine and all of them, they all said the same thing. Eric was the coldest one in the group. Like they all said the same thing.
Singing was something because my dad could sing, my mother, no, not my mother. My father could sing, my sister, and my daughter can sing.
Mm-hmm. Really?
Deja sing very well. Deja got runs and control. But for me, man, it was fun, but I just got that when I saw the other side of it.
Yeah.
And to know now, to look back and say all the different artists' careers and people that, this God has allowed, just like you, Zeke, and like you, Rich, has allowed us to be in rooms with people, other people dream. You know what I mean? And God to give you favor. And the story I told before is, as you know, Rich, when you're doing business and stuff, and and Zeke, as an artist, you got to have a gift of talking. You got to be able to talk yourself into. And I remember it was a TV show. They made me executive producer, and I got them Fred to do the show. This is back when we was doing Purpose by Design. It was even before that. It was way back in the day. And so you remember the word network?
Yeah.
You remember the gospel music channel?
Okay.
Nah,
gospel music channel had this show.
It was before my time.
You might have saw that, Rich. But
well,
the gospel music
channel,
but this is what they had. They were showing concerts like Ty Tribbett live, Fred Hammond live, J. Moss, Kiera. They were doing live sets. Matter of fact, Stand Out. Was Ty. They did a Stand Out live for Ty back. I'm making a long story short. They had this big convention in Indianapolis. Every headliner was on this show. So the TV show people said, hey, man, we're going to this event. Now, I'm not thinking they're going to show, nothing like that. So they said, man, can you get some interviews? I said, man, I can get you whoever you want. Just come on down. I hung up the phone. I'm like, I never see them. They're not coming. So I'm headed to Indianapolis. I get a phone call from the producer of the show. And I said, what's up, bro? He said, yeah, man, they let us in. We backstage. We set up at the event. Who you got set up for us? I didn't have nobody set up for this thing. Now, we're talking about 8,000 people in the audience, Rich. We get down to the venue. They set up in the hallway on the side by the backstage door. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I said, all right, let me use the bathroom. That was and I said, when I come out, I'm going to tell you who we got on the show. So, man, we get out. I get in that bathroom, Rich. I scream like a chick in the stall. I was just screaming, hitting the wall. I'm shaking. I'm nervous. I'm like, oh my God, I talked about, dude, 2 cameras, the boom mic, the assistants, the PAs, everybody running around, the host sitting there with chairs set up, desks, tables. I'm like, oh my God. So I said, well, let me use the bathroom. I forced myself to use the bathroom. I was stalling in about 15 minutes.
Yeah.
I go to wash my hands. So I was starting to water. I got my eyes closed. Like, God, I got to go out here and make a fool of myself in front of these people. And I saw your wife's message. I'm going to respond to it in just a minute. I washed my hands. I stepped back from the sink. When you wash your hands, you step back. And I stepped on somebody who was behind me. I stepped on their foot. And I jumped. I turned around and said, oh, my God. Dude, it was Rodney Jerkins, the producer. Wow. Now, I'm like, oh, my God, Rodney Jerkins. I'm like, my name is Eric, blah, 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 blah. I'm on the TV show. I went right into he was like, well, my wife got a new album out too. Can she come on your show too? Sure. So I want to say how God set you up. God sometimes will save you for his namesake so you don't make a fool of him. He'll step in like, let me help this fool out. That's what this was. We get out in the hallway, Rodney Jerkins, and I came out, oh yeah, I got Rodney's going to interview first with his wife. It was like, Rodney Jerkins, this was right when he was doing Michael Jackson stuff.
Yeah.
No, this was Destiny Child stuff too.
You rock my world, you know you think.
So he sit down, Rodney does the interview. His wife does it. As Rodney's interviewing, Kirk Franklin and all of them, the artists starting to come in. Kirk was like, he come walking up hey, what y'all got going? It says TV show. Can I get on? I want to promote my album. I'm like, cool. So Kurt Franklin take a side seat.
Wow.
Kiara comes up. And Kiara already, I said, Kia, I need you to do me a favor. Kiara like, I'll do it. She sit down. So by the time, within 20 minutes from having nobody, bro, by the time we started doing interviews, we had, when I say everybody, you got Jay Moss in line, you got Byron Cage was standing there waiting his turn, Fred was standing there to do it again, Kiara's in line, every minute, everybody who's on the show was lined up. I was telling Zeke the story of how you make a fool of yourself. Sometimes God, to avoid you making him look bad, will step in and help your foolishness.
Mm-hmm.
But I said all that to say how we all who's doing this business stuff like yourself, we have to be able to maneuver in a room and you have to be able to turn that situation around and have an answer all the time.
Yeah.
And let me see, talk about the visual art school. What was your suggestion for a youth versus traditional school? The advantages of it, I'll be honest with you.
That's a good
That
topic.
school
that's good.
was like fame. That's what we were built to be like. There was only 8 of those schools, I think, in the country. I know like Boys to Men, Denzel Washington, they got one in Philly they went to. In my school, you could sing, draw, dance, play an instrument, or you had to be able to draw. You had to audition. I had to audition to go to my school. I had to audition. My sister was a drama major. She went there too. And it went from 6th grade through high school. Good school. The thing was, you were some people who were just lazy. So say you made straight A's, but say in your major you got a D, you on academic probation immediately. And if you didn't bring that grade up, they kicked you out of school. Now, the advantage of it, it taught you, like if you're a vocal major, you got to tour. It taught you touring. You were gone from school Monday through Thursday, pretty much. Some days for someone else. It taught you discipline. If you're a vocal major, they taught you how to play the piano. Art major, it taught you every type of art, from acrylic to sculpting. It taught you everything, abstract art. Your drama major, it taught you all aspects of drama, even into technical, how to run lighting and stuff like that. Yeah. Dance majors, it taught. So the whole thing was, the school was great, but the downside of it was it could be stressful because you had to do your major, then they start making you have a minor. So if say you're an art major, you were a vocal minor major. So you had to major in both equally. Even though one was a minor, it's just like college. So, and then at the school too, it gives you an arts endorsement at the end, which is you get your diploma, then you get an endorsement saying you are qualified in this area, which open up doors for you to get different jobs. And I got some friends that work for Marvel, some that ended up working at record companies, some were tour. I mean, it was some are in theater, TV shows, Law and Order, some everything. But it was the thing. It was a good experience compared to traditional school. Would give you an education in that area, because visual for our school, that's your specialty. They look at it as this is, you're a piano player. We're gonna make you this is a specialty. This is your craft. So they treat it as a craft more than just a curriculum or as a thing, an elective. It's your major. So they you got to do your English and economics and all of that good stuff. Yeah. But that major is a focus from theory to making you learn the classics to making you, everything. So that's the advantage of it. It's way more experience. That's how, not being funny what I'm about to say, that's how I know a lot about a lot of different stuff from going to that school. I know about art. I know how to do technical things. I know how to do vocal stuff. I know because it taught me, I started playing piano. It taught me my keys. It taught me numbers. So the school was very good. I don't think I did. The funny thing was I did have to take a dance elective one. And I didn't wear no leotards, but I wore like jogging pants and stuff. And I thought it was feminine because some of the guys that was doing it was it was them guys. And I'm like, yeah, this ain't for me. But it was a good experience. I don't take it from anybody. And like if you watch Boys to Men when they talk about it, Denzel and all of those guys, how it was an experience that it gives you a heads up on other people. And in that thing, if you're a vocal major, and then they also teach you the music business too. So whatever, if you're an art person, everything that deals with art, that's what they go teach you. Yeah. Still gotta learn that stuff, but art, like I had to learn art history. Music, I had to learn music history. You have to learn music theory. So it was a great thing. When drama, you had to learn everything from Shakespeare all the way down to modern actors and actresses. You had to know it was a great lesson, man.
Do you think that's a lost art now, going back to music?
It is. It is lost.
With where
Emerson
we have technology,
Gary, Indiana. Yeah, Gary, Indiana had one.
Yeah.
Emerson School of Visual Performing Arts. One of the schools in the country, and they closed it down.
Yeah.
So that's something that's going.
I'm with Rich. I do think that's a lost art. I'm with Rich on that one.
It's
I think
very much a lost art.
Because, and I think maybe a part of that. I don't know that that's even gonna get better because now it's so easy to just make music. I mean, you got AI tools now. You got.
And see, it's easier
YouTube
now.
And grab a track and just make a song, and you don't have to have no real skill behind it anymore.
But the thing is, you lose a sense of extent of creativity. Like now, anybody can get on there and pick a beat. There's beats for sale or whatever. You can learn how to do this compared to making a beat, compared to playing the instrument. That's why bands back in the day, like Mint Condition, and see, all of us grew up in an area where Michael Jackson was alive, and you saw real musicians still.
Yeah,
you saw Mint Condition, you saw Prince, you saw Whitney Houston, you saw Luther Vandross, Stevie Wonder at his prime. You saw a lot, not prime, but still.
Later.
Mm-hmm. You learned a lot of stuff. We saw live. We went to concerts and know what it is to see live performances, even in gospel.
Mm-hmm.
We went to Radical for Christ concerts back in the day with the band. We saw that. Now people have more tracked out stuff. It's a lost art. I agree. Like she said, Curry High School was based on the school in New York, but they changed their curriculum.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a lot of schools, man. It's a lot of experiences and things that I'm grateful for to this day that I tell my daughter a lot of times, the stuff y'all have is music you all don't have.
Yeah.
Like we have legends. We can look back and say, their wall. They have Sexy Red. They have, talented people. That's why people like Mario to me is underrated. Mario's a talent.
Mario can sing, man. He's
a talent. Let's be
honest. One of those underrated voices.
Chris Brown is an amazing talent. Dude,
absolutely.
Chris Brown is amazing. You have some people they have in their thing, but they don't. How do I say this? I'm gonna use an example. He regardless of what he did, R. Kelly was an amazing songwriter.
Yeah, he was an amazing performer too. At the end of the day, R. Kelly concert was, show.
We had those experiences. These kids don't really have that. You have people like Chris Brown them trying to do different things like that, but it's still something. It's still something missing. Mm-hmm. It's still something not there that we had.
Did y'all see what JD has said? The reason why R&B is kind of going down is because of there's no gospel musicians that's coming in there, like that whole flavor. No one's going to church. He don't have that feel anymore.
Yeah, I did see that. Yeah, Jermaine Dupri. Yeah.
What you think about it? Most of your biggest artists, and even now, this next generation of musicians, as you all see, is crazy. These kids are 8 years old, playing 5 or 6 instruments.
Right.
A friend of mine from Canada, Desiree, I was talking to her yesterday. She plays 20 instruments, right? And she just did NAMM. She's endorsed and all this kind of stuff, different jazz musicians. And she would say, Eric, for me, I play 20 instruments. Wind instruments, string instruments, keyboards, all kind of stuff. She said, and I sit back with my 30 plus, she's 30, my 30 years, she's been playing since she was a kid.
Yeah.
She said, and I look at these new kids like, how are they doing it? There's a certain type of creativity that these kids are getting on social media that we didn't get, but there's a type of creativity they've lost that we have that they don't have.
Mm-hmm.
Like Zeke, you could sit down at a church and play a hymn, and they look at you like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
But the other ones, like musicians now, some of them can't do stuff without loops and without stems.
So do you handicapping us or handicapping, that generation in right there?
I don't know if it's handicap. For me, I don't know if it's necessarily handicapping or if it's just adding to the skill. I think that as long as, I think there's maybe for some folks it's a handicap because they lean in on it. But at the end of the day, also it's just a new thing that's out there. I mean, when we was growing up, you wouldn't have even imagined having, because we didn't have like laptops like that and programs that were easily accessible to make tracks and stuff. So I think it makes the sound fuller. I think it's definitely dope to have it, but that's a skill set in itself because everybody can't play to a track. Everybody can't.
And it's funny you said that too.
You know what I'm saying? So that's another skill set. That's all.
But there's groups like even back in the day when I was growing up, a lot of artists weren't used. One of the first artists to ever use drum programming was Sly from Sly and the Family Stone.
Word.
He was using drum programming back in the day. In gospel, the first people to use drum programming and push their vocals ahead in the front track was Fred and Commission. They were the first to use drum loops and drum programming. They were coming out with MPCs. They were the first people to do that and change the way gospel vocals were mixed. They give Fred credit.
Yeah, and I gotta give shout out. I'm gonna give another person shout outs to this one too. And I didn't realize this until first time I did Goshen with him. And and he was like, no, we were using like computers. So he was like, we had this big computer set up on the stage, and he was like, nobody was doing that, especially for choirs at that time. And then I went back on that Bible stories thing, and I'm looking at it with this big computer sitting there, and them tracks that was going through, they had programmed all this stuff. And we just listened to the stuff live. I mean, we listened to the stuff on the CDs back then. We listened to that and didn't realize that that was innovative stuff that was happening. We just take it for granted. Yeah. But Donald, shout out to Donald Lawrence, man.
Donald Lawrence is amazing.
Because I never really, because to me, again, my favorite choir all time. Bronya said this earlier. We could argue about the best choirs, and I will stand on it. Tri-City is the best choir all time, my opinion. Like,
I saw somebody say LA
best choir all time. Like,
somebody said LA Mass.
I will stand on that. I will stand on it.
I think Donald.
But I never thought of Donald as like being like hip hop tracks and stuff like that. And that's what he was saying. He was like, no, we was integrating.
Like think about A Stranger in Town. That song Stranger had the loop going and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But then you have your choir
hip-hop loops. Yeah.
Then you have your classical directors who people didn't get them. I mean, they were known and popular, but people didn't understand it. Let's take James Hall and Worship and Praise. James Hall was a classical music genius. And people, listen to some of his arrangements.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it makes sense, when you listen to the arrangements.
Some people like,
man,
yeah, but that's the thing, man. I think the lost art, like Richard said, I think there's a certain thing that's lost now. There's a certain type of creativity that's great now. There's a certain type of creativity that's lost. And I look at, like, let's take Philip Feaster, for example. Philip is somebody.
That's where exactly I just thought about.
Philip is classically trained. Philip, what Fred said, would throw Mozart in the middle of a Fred set.
Yeah, Philip would just sit down and start warming up with some stuff, and you'd be like, dude, what in the world is wrong with your fingers? How can you do that? Like, warm up with like scales that are just like, what was that?
Jason Tyson is another one. You got Leonard Razor as one of the. You got the Wendell Lowe. You got these guys that do things that, and then you got the new generation of guys like Lacey Coleman. Lacey played drums and keys, just what LA Mass, Walter. Oh God, LA Mass did when they did that was West Angeles when they did the worship medleys. This is the day and all them songs. Was that West Angeles or was that?
I think that was West Angeles, right?
LA Mass only had what was the song? Having You There.
What was LA Mass sing? Yeah,
what was they? They had a because y'all know I'm still a little younger,
Don't get me lying.
Yeah, I don't remember LA Mass like that. I don't remember LA Mass like that. I think I didn't listen to LA Mass.
I'm trying to remember what LA Mass had. You know what though? The other thing is the West Coast doesn't really get a whole lot of love. The West Coast doesn't get a whole lot of love from the gospel scene. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Having You There. That was the song I said. That's the only song LA Mass. Just having you
there.
No,
I thought then they had wasn't LA Mass the one that did what's the joint I'm trying to think of? That's When You Bless Me. That's the one I'm trying to think of. Yeah.
And those are the two that I
knew. That's the one I was trying to think of.
I knew. Yeah. But other than that, I can't name another LA Mass song.
Sing that in the Hoppers Park Community Choir.
No LA Mass song. I just wasn't into. I wasn't a big choir head anyway, and I was a choir director. That's funny, but I wasn't a big choir head like that, but I liked them. But see, this is something else too we were talking about the other day, and you both know this too, is that music now, back in the day, now people pick and choose this artist. I like them over this one. I like this one more. I'm gonna go support him. If you think back in the day, you like John P. Key just as much as you like Hezekiah Walker. You like Radcliffe Price just as much as you like Donald Lawrence. It was a different view of how we supported gospel music. Y'all music, you know. And then we were talking about this other day. Let's take Dietrich Haddon was innovative. Dietrich Haddon was around before there was a Tornado. Before there
Dietrich
was
definitely innovative.
He was an innovator.
And I say this all the time, especially when I first got LXW. That's what made it so full circle for me. The thing that made me realize, maybe one day I can do the whole music thing was watching the Dietrich Haddon concert. I remember we had first moved to Hopkins Park, and they used to have video gospel on Sunday mornings right after Bobby Jones gospel.
Yeah.
And Dietrich Haddon came on one of those episodes. I remember it clear as day. He had on that silver outfit with the Michael Jackson microphone, the open ear microphone, doing Chain Breaker. And I was like, yo, what is this? I was glued. And then from that day on, I was like, I think I might try it. And then I started singing at church and doing other stuff.
And speaking of Mervyn Warren, you are right with your post. Thomas Whitfield was a genius too.
Oh, definitely.
Thomas Whitfield was a creative genius. Yeah. Daryl Coley was a vocal master.
Yeah.
You know, we see that's the kind of music we had growing up where we heard singers, just like in the R&B world and gospel world. We heard. Think about this too, Zeke and Rich. A lot of us were there when gospel music started to make the transition from what it was to what it is.
Yeah,
we were there when Kurt came out. We was there when Fred shut down choirs for the world and started turning everybody else into praise and worship. You know, we remember those changes, man. Climactic moments in music. You know, climactic moments when we first heard, like you said, Spirit of David. Or when we first heard, people lost their mind. Ricky Dillon did Abundantly. The Georgia Joy, people like, oh my God.
right.
It was like, how did he do that?
Man, you got to put New G up there.
Well, yeah, New G got to, okay. Ricky, don't get mad at me. When I was growing up, I was not a huge New G fan. I don't know. But again, the sound of New G compared to the sound of Tri-City is opposite ends of the spectrum.
They're opposite. So I had Skywalker.
I was more on the side of the sound of Donald Lawrence and them, where it was like this. It was a very pristine sound. It was which is why I never associated it with hip hop, because it was so pristine.
You know what?
Ricky was like,
But it's funny you mentioned that. Dietrich.
Yeah.
It's funny you mentioned that though, because Dietrich, he called. We was on the phone the other night talking about that. Dietrich said how you look like the choirs. Like he said, like John P. Key is the master of writing real basic songs. It's not knocking John. It's basic. But John stuff everybody can sing.
Oh yeah,
you know
who the
compared
to
is?
No, I give you even another one that's a master that with choir music. Hezekiah Walker, that dog.
Hezekiah Walker, Clean Inside was 2 words.
Bro, like when we going on tour with Hez, like just watching him. This is how Hez did it. This is how he did every praise, and he did, and the whole audience, every song, like not a single song. Hez didn't break a sweat the entire time.
But you know what? Think about it. Your boy is like that. Think about it. Fred get on stage. Say it. Yeah. Everybody know his music.
Yeah. Heck yeah.
He ain't got to lead you into the word.
Yeah.
That's the difference in music from when we were coming up.
Yeah.
I think to some of the music now. You got some, that just Hez was wrote. Then you have your talented vocalists like Kim Burrell, whose album sales are not the same as a Hezekiah John. It's not that she's less talented. It's vocally. The average person can't sing a Kim Burrell.
It's the sing-along joint. That's what it boils down to. Because Hez's music, you can go to any church and pull out at least 3 Hezekiah Walker songs. Any black church, pull out at least 3 Hezekiah Walker songs, and you're gonna be all right. Like you'll be okay. Like
you can do that, right? You can do it. And DJ Rogers, he
no more heavy praise. No more heavy praise. Just no more heavy praise.
No more order my steps ever in life.
So Merv, give us a quick comment, because I know we do have to log off in here in a minute. We are coming up on our last few minutes. So let's see here real quick. He says, how do you keep from getting discouraged in your journey when you didn't grow up having the opportunity to see or experience amazing things like that can only really stroke your hunger and determination? I know for me, I grew up in a small town with little to no musical outlets. Same here. I'm Kankakee, Hopkins Park, Illinois. I just turned 41 a couple months ago. Same here. Shout out. and I can say I never really got a real taste of anything like that until Rockford 2021. Thank you, Eric and Zeke, for your kindness. Aw, there was another 2 years before Fred and STL and all that kind of stuff like that. That may be a good thing for us to jump on and talk about tomorrow.
Let's talk about that tomorrow. How to not be discouraged.
How to not be discouraged. Somebody write that one down so we can, so we can remember.
Oh, I'm not gonna forget it.
So we can
matter of fact,
that topic tomorrow because that's a good topic because because that's a personal topic for me. I'm telling you that right now, y'all.
You know what?
I ain't got no music out right now. Let's talk about it for real.
Mervin is actually an artist too, so if he's available tomorrow, maybe to jump on and have a conversation. Because Mervin is.
We have to get him on a different because I got Jamaica tomorrow.
Jamaica's tomorrow.
Make sure y'all tune in tomorrow because we got Jamaica Lachey, amazing artist. She's jumping on with us tomorrow. Absolutely.
And we forgot 2 people, Zeke.
Who did I forget?
Comments. We forgot Timothy Wright. Trouble Don't Last Always.
Well, of course, that was a hit.
And Richard Smallwood.
Well, Richard Smallwood and Vision, that's one of the most underrated choir. Nobody ever put them in their top, and Vision was that sound. But I would wear that Vision albums out, like the ones with Total Praise and the one with what's the song I'm trying to think of? Praise waiting for the
and Richard Smallwood, we ain't got time to go into nothing.
We don't. We got to close out. We got to get off of here. We got to go to my job. Y'all, anybody got any last comments? Eric, tell the people give them a last comment to go with.
Thank you all for joining in today. Please like and share this. Put hearts on it, even though it goes off. But share this. Tomorrow morning, we will be here, and Zeke, Rich, and I will figure out some time today to get together to work out some of these kinks so we can see the comments and all that. But thank each of you for joining in. Thank each of you for being a part of this today. We really appreciate you. Thank you so much for supporting.
Absolutely. Richard, you got any last comments you want to leave for the people?
Hey, life is choice driven. You will live and die by the choices you choose to make. I got a hint for you. Choose life. I'll talk to y'all next time.
Hey.
Yeah, that guy hit us with that one. Okay.
That part. And as always, I'm Zeke Lock. I'm so glad that y'all tuned in. I'm glad y'all tuned in with us. Y'all tuned in. Yeah. Y'all tuned in. I'm glad y'all joined in, tuned in with us. That Richard Gallion, you got to work on my enunciation in acting class next week. But thank y'all for tuning in. Please make sure that you like. Please make sure you tag. Please make sure you share. Please make sure you subscribe. And if you got any topics, anything that you want us just to talk about, we don't know everything. We don't really know much of anything, but we know a few things, and we know if we don't know it, we know somebody who does. And so we'll talk about it and at least explore it. We love to go back and forth with people in the comment sections and all that. So please make sure you tune in tomorrow, 7:30. We were a little bit late today. I was about 3 minutes late getting going. But the interwebs was being goofy. Al Gore, you need to fix it. Your interwebs. So we had a good time today. I thank y'all for joining in. Please, again, make sure you tag, share, subscribe, do all that good stuff. Please go follow on YouTube. That's youtube.com/Zeke Lock. The show airs live over there. Make sure that you are following me and my illustrious co-hosts as well on Instagram. I'm going to put them back on the screen so you can see their tags. Make sure you go and follow their tags on IG so that you can follow all the good, cool things that they have going on. As always, it's been amazing. And, I'm just going, Rich Holmes, can you do me a favor? Can you just pray for the people one time? Because we talked a lot about stuff like mental health and all that kind of stuff. And a lot of people are vulnerable today. Do you mind saying just a quick word of prayer? I know we're a minute over, but I think there's a minute over for prayer.
God, thank you for this time of coming together to be with these, your great people. We pray that something was said to be effective. Even if we just planted the seed, Lord God, we thank you that Holy Spirit will water that seed and you will get the increase. We thank you for every encouraging word, everybody that's hearts that's heavy, even right now, Lord God. We ask that you give them peace that surpasses all understanding. We may not even understand where the peace comes from, God, but we know that at the end, it all comes from you. So we give you praise and glory for it now in Jesus' name. And we'll see everybody tomorrow. Amen.
That's right. We'll see you tomorrow. Y'all be blessed. Y'all be easy. Y'all have fun. And make sure you're taking care of yourself and your mental health. All right. I'll talk to y'all. Peace.
Peace.
I think